Yes, everybody, and welcome to High on Homegrown, the cannabis podcast from Percy'sGrowroom.com. I am Mackie from the UK, and joining us this week, we have Billy Bonds.
Yay, I'm back with feeling a bit better from the flu.
That's
100%.
right, yeah, because last week you were fucked, weren't you?
Yeah, totally. Couldn't even
Damn.
talk properly without coughing. So,
Damn.
yeah, all good. Back to the smoking normal as usual.
Sounds good. What
Got
are you smoking
hash
on? You
in the
got something
joint.
nice?
So, yeah, I've actually got some bongo bubble gum.
Ooh,
So,
yeah, you said, yeah.
bongo bulk, yeah. So, and some
Old
bangy
school.
haze as well, which is really piney. So, I've
Mm-mm.
decided to put hash in it because that's what you do.
Beautiful,
So,
beautiful.
yeah.
And that's it, because it is Canadian Thanksgiving out there today. So a big happy Thanksgiving to all of our Canadian listeners. I hope you all have a good day and eat lots of nice food as you do on Thanksgiving and enjoy the celebrations. So Margaret will not be joining us today, but she'll be back next week after the celebrations are done. So hope she has a good time with her family and all that. And I hope all the listeners who also celebrate Thanksgiving in Canada also have a good day. Very cool. So yeah, just me and Billy today, but it will be good, I'm sure. Billy's gonna behave himself, maybe. We'll see as the show progresses. You know what he gets like. You all know what he gets like, everybody. Yeah. So hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, and yeah, that's about it. That's the intro done. Let's go on to the news. Not really. We've got to chat some shit first. We can't move on within the first minute. That's crazy talk.
What about your poll? Have you mentioned your
Oh
poll?
yeah, we've got the poll here. Do you like polls? Yes, no, and HOHG is cool. I didn't know what kind of poll to do today, so I did this one. I hope you all like it. Suggestions for future polls are always welcome. If you want to drop in some suggestions, that would be cool. But yeah, quick shout out to everybody in the chat. What's up, man? Thanks for coming to join us. Dave White has come to join us. I believe Dave White is our newest Patreon. Thanks for becoming a patron there, Dave. We appreciate that shit, man. And if anybody does want to support the show and support the forum, no pressure, of course. We just appreciate you guys being here. But if you do want to take that extra step and support the forum and the podcast, just head over to patreon.com/Percy's Grow Room and you'll be able to find us saying you become a patron for as little as 420. Very cheap, very cheap. And you know, it's 420, so why not? And then you'll get access to all of these interviews like we do on Tuesdays and Thursdays, most weeks, and you'll get access to all of the interviews that we've done recently. Well, not even recently, over the last couple of years. You get access to all of them, unedited, unabridged, and all that, as they say. So if you want to become a patron and get access to those, then please feel free to do so. But no pressure, of course. That's it, innit? I mean, what are you smoking on? You say you got some bongo bulk bubble gum you've got.
Yeah, it's actually quite nice. It's you can smell the like the blueberryness and like and taste it obviously, but like you can smell the
Mm-mm-mm.
bubblegumness of it. It's quite cool actually. And I found some hash as well from left over from Amsterdam, so that's been put in there too.
And
Sorry, just going back the Canadian sort of Thanksgiving. It's a French celebration from when they finished their farm when they first settled there.
all
And
right.
obviously it's to give thanks for a good harvest that year and to say fuck for that. We've got a lot of food to last us over winter and we're all going to survive.
Okay, cool.
And then they reminisce about and celebrate that basically, and that's
That's
just
why I
gone
have
on
to put
since
one of
then.
them sound bites, that random fact of the week. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's quite cool because it's just celebrating what you've got, which is important,
Mhm.
really, isn't it? This time of
Like a
year.
harvest
So
festival kind of vibe.
yeah, basically their own harvest festival, but within their own community. If I mean, it's not like it's just like just for us to celebrate. Yay!
Mhm.
Everyone in this community's farmed and shared enough food for us all to live for another like year, and then do the same again next year, and then sit with
Yeah.
family and stuff like that. So it's like gather around the fire time.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I'm not smoking on anything right now. Of course, I do have plenty of cannabis, but damn, I am such a lightweight now. I smoked some earlier. I took like 3 draws of this weed. I think it's like 250K or something, Mephisto. And damn, I was just mashed, man. And I don't want to get too mashed while we're doing this show right now. Maybe I'll hit something a little later on, but for now, I think I'll just let the high that I already had today settle down. You know what I'm saying? No alcoholic beverage as well because I'm on Sober October. I hope anybody else participating in Sober October is also doing well and getting to the end of the month slowly. But yeah, big news there, which was mentioned in the chat. Did you see the catch from Green Grocer there? Of course I saw the fucking catch, man. That was epic, right? The in case anybody don't know what we're talking about, the Starship, the heaviest object launched by mankind, was launched today, and the rocket booster on its way back down was caught by the Mechazilla chopsticks, I think they're called, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, man.
But the same platform it left from, it landed back on.
Madness.
Freaking amazing.
You know, it looks CGI and shit. You know, when they show you the camera replays of this, it's like, nah, that can't be real. But it is. Incredible. Incredible. Well, what an awesome piece of technology, man. Yeah, biggest advancement in rocketry. And, you know, just so everybody knows, you won't see any of this on the mainstream media. This is a huge piece of scientific progress, I think, anyway. And I'm sure lots of other people think too. But because, you know, everybody hates Elon, it won't be on the mainstream media like it should be. But we won't get controversial and talk about that kind of stuff. That's how it's specifically for the Patreon sessions. Let's not talk about that stuff on live stream, because YouTube will shut us down. You know what I'm saying? But damn, that was very impressive. Very impressive. And I was hoping that they were going to catch the Starship itself, though. But that was still cool. It landed in the Indian Ocean, and then I think it exploded and sank, right? I'm not sure. I don't know what the results were there.
Yeah, I'm not sure of that, but it's meant to be having splashdown, but I assume that was probably successful as well. It always is. Talking of space, I've been seeing a lot more stuff come up about Beetlejuice possibly going supernova again. So there's still a lot of that chat, so that's interesting.
And we had Northern Lights again in the UK as well.
Yeah, and more Northern Lights in the UK, yep. Solar activity going on in the sun, because it's whatever it is, the polar flip of the sun, in it. And you get
no, it isn't. It's half. It's half the weather altering device created by the CIA. Sorry. Come on,
sorry, mate. Yeah,
come on. Sorry. Do you not internet, bro? But you know, maybe it is. Maybe it is. Maybe all the conspiracy theories are not actually lying. Maybe they're more correct than we think they are. Who knows? Who knows? Let us know what you think, everybody. Is it HAARP? See, that's going to be flags on YouTube again now, anyway. But anyway, maybe it is.
Yeah, and you blame me about flags, and there's you going on about HAARP and all that.
Gosh.
Boy.
Yes. Let us know what you think in the comments in the chat, everybody. Is CIA behind it all? Let us know. Let us know what you all think. Well, yeah, I think that's a good enough intro for now. We've touched many random tangents there, got ourselves some flags and shit. We didn't even discuss what we're going to be talking about. Let's do that. Let's have a quick look at the news articles that we're going to be going through. We, of course, have Mackie's monthly giveaway. We're going to do the snail race in the smoke break. So if you are entered into that, the list is already done. Everybody's always put onto it. They're already put onto it. So we'll do that in the smoke break there. But for the cannabis news, we have shit like cannabis vapes and ketamine use on the rise amongst young people, according to drugs reports. Interesting. God damn. Ketamine use. I remember that back in the day. I remember watching like a blank TV for 2 hours because I was so fucked on ketamine. Damn. I'm glad I don't do that shit anymore. How to get unhigh. Tips to sober up from weed. You know when you smoke too much? Sometimes it's called a whitey in the UK. I know some places call it to green out or something. What do you call it, Billy?
Yeah, whitey, mate.
Yeah, because you go all pale and shit. And yeah, you throw a whitey. But we're just going to discuss about how you can get over that. If somebody smoked a little bit too much, then you can reduce the high by doing certain things. We're going to discuss those. Then we have the dark side of cannabis edibles. How fake packaging can mislead consumers and harm children. So something we're going to be looking at. Always an interesting topic as well when it comes to packaging on edibles. It seems to be an interesting one anyway. We have also pain specialists not high on improving access to medical cannabis. What does that even mean? We'll see, because they want to fucking sell their opioids from the pharmaceutical company. They're not high on it because their profit won't be high on it. But let's not get into rant mode just yet. And we also have 141 new adult use cannabis licenses approved by the state. I don't know what state, but we'll find out that when we get to the news article there. But that's quite a few licenses. Very cool. And this is the so those are news articles that we're covering on today's show. And for the grow guides, we're just going to be covering frequently asked questions about growing cannabis, because you know we're in the middle of flower right now. If we're following the series from episode 1 up until now, or on episode 15, then you should be somewhere during flower. and nothing much is happening at this stage. It's going from veg to flower. So we're going to talk about the frequently asked questions in this episode, and then next week we're going to be talking about how to improve flavor and how to bulk up your buds during the flowering process. Sounds like a good plan to me. Well, I think that's everything. Ready to go on to the news already, Billy? Anything else to add?
Yeah, man. No, man, that's probably it.
Let's do it.
Smoke some more weed and get some news.
Sounds like a plan. Let's do the news. So where do we even begin? We should put a poll up asking which article people think we should start with. Let's start with this cannabis vapes and ketamine use. Let's do that one. It sounds like an interesting one to me. Open link in a new tab. I haven't opened up all the articles. How unprofessional of me. But let's take a look at this. Ah, it's not on the screen.
Professionalism, point two.
I don't understand how it works, you see. Because if I have it on the show notes, then it will pick it up. You see how it picks it up when it's on the show notes, but then I click on the news article, and now it will work because it's the second time round. Weird. Don't look at the show notes, everybody. They're secret. I just edit all that out. Don't forget to hit the like button and all that, everybody, if you haven't done that yet. Yeah, I'll do that now just after making a mistake. So, so we have cannabis vapes and ketamine use on the rise amongst young people, according to Drugs Report. We have, we'll skip all that. Got you right in there. Almost half of young people have used vapes containing cannabis, with 54% claiming they were easier to buy than normal e-cigarettes, a survey has found. But testing revealed that many vapes being sold as THC vapes, vapes that contain the main psychoactive compound of cannabis, contain synthetic cannabinoids known as spice. While those who do contain THC varied significantly in their content, ranging from 18%, that's 18%, to 90%, 90%. And as you can see, damn, that's a
bit of a range,
shitload of a difference,
really?
isn't it? You know what I mean? You're going to hit one at 18%, you're going to be a little higher, then you're going to hit 90%, you're going to be mashed. Jesus. But,
Not
man,
for lightweights.
And this is what happens when things are not regulated properly. But we have the review of drug use across Greater Manchester found 48% of those asked reported using THC vapes, with 2/5 saying they felt they had got stronger. Yeah, and I agree with that. Cannabis seems to be getting stronger, but vapes are a little bit different from cannabis itself, isn't it? Because it's they take the cannabinoids and put them in like propylene glycol. I think that's how it's going to be made. You know, these THC vapes, it's going to be similar to ordinary vapes, and propylene glycol or vegetable glycerin. They'll mix the cannabinoids in with that and then vape it. You think so, Billy?
Yeah, basically. Yeah, I assume so. Depends on how cloudy they want it, is why they have the mixture of the two in it to produce more cloudy vape.
Right, yeah. I have no idea. I used to vape a long time ago. I had one of them big, the Cloud Chaser ones, and damn, it was refreshing. I enjoyed it very much, but it's just, that was a lot of vape, man. These are big clouds, but tasty. I don't do that shit anymore. The GM trends, is that Greater Manchester? The Greater Manchester Trends Report also highlighted an increase in the use of ketamine at a younger age, including by high school aged children, to self-medicate anxiety and trauma away from the drug traditionally associated with clubbing. 1 in 6, that's 16% of young people reported using the drug in the past year. A significant increase from 6% in 2022. 6% admitted it in 2022. I don't know if the use has actually gone up, causing long-term health issues, including bladder, kidney, and liver damage. Jesus, I don't know. I used to, as I said earlier, I took some ketamine back in the day for the clubbing days when you was out clubbing and shit. I remember those days. Good fun, but I don't think kids should be taking it, especially when they're still in school and shit like that. But this is what happens when things are not regulated properly in the UK. It's just a drug dealer don't give a fuck if it's selling it to a kid still in school, does he? Well, most of them don't. I'm sure some of them do. You can't put them all in the same bracket. You know what I mean? What was you saying, Billy?
Half the time as well, it's like it's kids selling it to kids as well. Well, one kid will get it off someone a bit older, and then that's it. It's then spread around from then. So it's a lot of time it's 16-year-olds who sell it to other 15-year-olds, really.
And where the fuck are they getting it from? Damn, man. Because
It's
it's a
easy.
horse tranquilizer, ain't it, ketamine?
Sort of, yeah. Yeah, it's got various uses, but yeah, it's pretty much a sedative. It's used in various ways, isn't it? So, but yeah, that's what we use it for as well as humans. We just don't need as much as a horse, obviously. So
Mm-mm.
that's the difference, is to getting the right balance, isn't it? Because obviously we used it with ecstasy, so it was like or
Mm-hmm.
to come down, or to sit there and like just veg out, in, like you
Yeah,
say,
yeah,
in front of a TV and watch nothing,
yeah,
or sit in a chair and just feel like you're just sinking into it for two
yeah,
hours.
yeah. Go into
Yeah,
the ket
yeah,
hole, as we called it
yeah.
back then.
The old K holes, yeah,
Yeah,
man.
that's right. The K hole on the special K. You know how it is, kids. You know. Madness. But this article continues here. Other highlights in the report include an increase in the use of powdered cocaine with 1 in 6, that's 17%. The last time it said 1 in 6, it was 16%. Now it's 17%. Anyway, yes, 1 in 6, which is 17%, young people reported using the drug, a significant increase from 7% in the last year. Almost half, 45%, claimed it is easy to buy, while 2/5, 40%, say it has got stronger with a high average purity reported from 64% per gram. That's good news. Cocaine went through like a whole episode of just being absolutely fucking shit. But anyway, it's not good news like the kids are taking it. But you know, if you want it, the safer drug has got more of the actual ingredient rather than the Novocaine, the bicarb, all this rat poison. I don't know. They mixed loads of dodgy shit into this stuff, man. You know, so to see that it is at least not as shit as it used to be, I think that's a good thing. Again, kids shouldn't be taking it, but you want purity to be up there, you know. But easier to
Yeah,
buy.
and
45% claimed it's easier to buy. And you know why that is, don't you? Instagram and sites like it. It's just easy access to all of these things. There, you didn't have to, you know, back in the day before we had all these social networks and shit. You had to know a guy who knows a guy. You know what I mean? But now you can find it all up on Instagram or Telegram. That's another one I see. Indeed, Telegram is another one. You know, these kind of networks where it's just easy for people to get in contact with people they don't really know, but they have stuff. You know, so it's easier to get hold of now, especially for these kids who are tech savvy. They know what they're doing. They're able to get hold of this stuff pretty easily, I think.
yeah, and even if you got rid of like Instagram and Telegram, the other ones would just pop up for them
Hmm.
to take their place. So
Yeah,
it would nothing would change. It's more
exactly.
like regulating the drug than the market
Hmm.
providers, if you
Hmm.
know what I mean. So
And that's it. And that's not going to change, is it? You know, when there's a demand for it, there will be a supply for it. And it's just going to be an unsafe supply because it's not properly regulated. Shocking.
yeah, again, so if you, at least you know, if you'd go and you wanted some ketamine, you bought a pill, it'd have like 50%, 25% ketamine at this amount of milligrams, and this is what it's mixed with, like, rather than potluck of what you get off the internet, isn't it?
Mm-mm.
That's the problem, isn't it? Is they're not knowing that, because you buy the same batch off the same person, and there'd still be two different strengths within a
Mm-hmm.
week of each other.
Mm-hmm.
So, but at least if it is regulated, they'd be exactly the same consistency as where it's at, isn't it?
Indeed. Yeah.
Yeah.
This article continues here. Researchers from Manchester Metropolitan University analysed existing data, conducted online surveys of 132 Greater Manchester professionals, 400 young people, alongside interviews with 85 key professional informants and 21 young people who used THC vapes and 22 young people who used ketamine. This was accompanied by the testing of 199 drug samples by the Manchester Drug Analysis and Knowledge Exchange. That's a Mandrake is the acronym for that. A drugs testing research project based at Manchester Met, developed with Greater Manchester Police to test non-evidential drug samples, along with samples submitted by other external agencies. Rob Ralphs, Professor of Criminology and Social Policy at Manchester Metropolitan University, said, "This year's findings have highlighted the impact of recent changes to how young people consume nicotine, with the shift from smoking tobacco to vaping now reflected in the way young people are choosing to use cannabis. Ketamine appears to be multifunctional, because they're not taking enough of it, because it definitely isn't multifunctional." You know, I mean, just a microdose there, damn. Replacing alcohol and cannabis as a drug of choice to relax and providing the same function as prescription drugs in aiding sleep, self-medication, anxiety, and trauma. Crazy, right? It's like the kids are they prefer to go out and get their own ketamine rather than go to the doctor and get I don't know what you'd get from the doctor for anxiety and like sleeping pills or something, you know.
Yeah, maybe some smack or something of the
Fuck
doctor.
knows, man.
But they like handing out that, don't they? That's their
It's
favourite drug of choice.
it's dodgy, isn't it? How they would prefer to head to the legacy market and get this shit then rather than go to the pharmaceutical industry. I wonder what that's about. I wonder if that's like lack of trust in the pharmaceutical industry because they're well informed nowadays. Kids are, aren't they? So I want to say kids.
Yeah,
It's like people under 20 or something. I don't know. It's
yeah. It could be a bit fuck farmer,
mhm,
fuck the
mhm.
man, and all that. Trust the
Thi-
local drug dealer.
This carries on with a quote again. It says it's rapidly changing from a drug taken occasionally at weekends to more regular use. Consequently, services are beginning to see people presenting with ketamine related bladder and kidney harms at a much younger age. We need to develop a whole system approach to address this. You know what would address it? Proper legalization and regulation. Or you could just leave it as it is and the problems will continue. Simple, right? I don't know.
With the government in it, it's the UK, mate. What do you
Mm-hmm,
think?
mm-hmm. I'll read it. Just nearly done here with this article. We've got Assistant Chief Constable Chris Sykes of Greater Manchester Police said the research and information featured within the GM Trends report allow us to understand the ever-evolving drugs market so we can devise targeted distribution. Sorry, so we can devise targeted disruption and prevention plans that better support communities because that's been working so well for all of these years. Let's continue what we've been doing. Fucking ridiculous, isn't it? We
Yeah,
have
it
launched
is.
the GM drug strategy to build on the strong partnerships work we already do, ensuring we can best respond to emerging threats and trends, supporting people and keep people safe. Wow, there we go. Yeah,
All
interesting
the
article, man. Interesting.
I just hate to keep people safe, but if we want to keep people safe, then full regulation and decriminalisation, isn't it? It's the only way
Hmm.
forward because
Hmm.
that's what's going to keep
It
people
seems to be
safe.
the way. It seems to be the only way that this can really be regulated and increase safety for the consumer is to properly regulate it and have boards in place to make sure that this shit is safe and it's not getting into the hands of children. Because though alcohol does sometimes get into the hands of children, there's still things in place to make sure it happens less than it should. You know, to the extent where if, because remember back in the day when you would, not me personally, friends of mine would go up to some adult who's going to the shop and be like, "Oh mate, can you grab us a pack of fucking vodka Red Bull in there, or you know, whatever you fucking drinking, get us some of that White Lightning, would you, mate?" I never drank that shit myself. That's disgusting, but that's what people would do. What was the other shit? We had White Lightning. What's that?
2020,
2020. That's right. So, Hooch. Remember Hooch? These alcohol
Thunderbird.
pops. You know that nasty shit. And you'd ask somebody to go in there and get it for you. But now there's like big punishment for anybody would do that. So people are less likely to do it. You know. So it's more in control than what it would be if it was in the legacy market like we have now with all of these other drugs except for alcohol. So it needs to be addressed, man. And I personally think the best way to address it is to properly legalize and regulate. That's the only way we're going to get through it, in my opinion. But I don't know what all of you guys think out there in the chat. Let us know what you think, man. What would you suggest is the best way to fix this kind of problem? I don't know. What do you think, Billy?
The best way is probably just completely remove all governments and start again. Yeah, that's
No,
that.
that's a bit anarchistic, right?
Well, yeah, it's the only way it seems because none of them are going to seem to do what we want. We've been begging
Yeah.
for how long now? Like everyone across the world's been sort of saying like, all drugs needs to be sort of regulated. The cartels are now so powerful in some
Hmm.
countries.
Hmm.
They have their own armies. They don't just have like a few people with guns. They literally have armies fully loaded with proper guns and armored vehicles and all sorts of shit. It's like just gone beyond a joke now.
Yeah.
It's like
Militarized and
it's
shit. You know?
yeah. They're basically militarized zones, and it's like what the actual fuck. And all this over drugs when you could have just gone, oh, we regulate that so that don't happen. End of.
Yeah.
And then like no billions to an invading army, basically.
Yeah. Madness, man.
Crazy shit. Crazy shit. That's why I said that they want Albanian drug gangs to control it all instead of Filipino ones now, it seems. It's like,
Yeah.
what the actual fuck? How long does it take these people to wake the fuck up to what's going on and who's controlling the drugs out there? They know, but it shows that they don't care because they know and they're not doing nothing about it. So they really don't care. They want it to be lived in fear and for people to fight over it, for craziness on our streets. Must be, because that's what's happening. They must want it.
Yeah, madness, man. It just doesn't make sense.
No.
But what else do we have here then? Let's cover one of your news stories. We've got pain specialists not high on improving access to medicinal cannabis. What's this about? Does this explain why the pharmaceutical industry is a little bit fucked? Not just a little bit fucked, majorly fucked.
Yeah, majorly fucked. Yeah, so basically pain specialists are just not interested in cannabis really as a pain medicine. So wow, not surprising really, but they're the ones.
Even though there's loads of
obviously
evidence to say that it works really well.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, and it's like a fight between the patients who saying it does work and they want it, against the doctors who are like, no, we don't really like it. We're not really sure. Blah blah blah. Wank. So basically, it's new research has revealed that physicians and adults suffering from chronic pain in levels of support for cannabis access is with signifying implications for policymakers and healthcare practices regarding the cannabis use. So they're asking about policies which obviously affect their regulated use. So it's strange that the doctors are slightly against it because maybe they're not going to get enough kickbacks from the medical cannabis as they do the other drugs they prescribe. Is where I see it. If you, I mean, that's what.
Well, Margaret had the good point last week, and we brought it up many times before as well. But dosage is a big problem, and just getting the dose correct. I think
that's
a
lot of experimental with that as well.
Doctors like to know that they will get some results from it. Maybe I don't know.
But also, doctors don't want to do too much work. They know dosage is easier to handle on like certain drugs, whereas cannabis they've got to start from the beginning again and actually work with their patient. You know what I mean? So it creates work and them having to actually do more, learn. They have to learn something new. They don't want to learn something new when
strange,
they
isn't it?
the same old shit. And
there's a real good episode of the Joe Rogan experience recently. I don't know if you heard it. I can't remember the name of the people who went on there, but they were like specialists in this kind of shit. And they were saying the first drug that was to be taken by people continuously, because before the birth control pill, that was made to be taken continuously, but before then it's like all the pills were supposed to be taken for a couple of weeks to try and treat something and then get off it. But so many of the drugs that are given out to people now are there to be taken continuously, more like to maintain a certain issue rather than solving it, which is scary to think, man. Maybe that's part of it. Maybe they just want to give people drugs that they'll use continuously. Well, I suppose they'd use cannabis continuously, right? It's not like people use cannabis for a couple of weeks and then be like, oh, I don't need it anymore, like they would do with other medication. I don't know. It's a strange one. I'm not a doctor. I just play one on TV. Remember that? So I wouldn't know what this shit even. I wouldn't know what they were thinking anyway. You know.
Basically, it was this big survey. Well, I say big. It was a survey that was done, like between like doctors. So they asked doctors, physicians, and patients of the two groups about cannabis policies, about accessing pain management. So, and it's from the Department of Psychiatry as well. So that the team study methodology involved two distinct survey periods with adults with chronic pain was surveyed between March and April 2022. So, and the doctors were surveyed the year later in the summer, July to August. So the survey questions asked respondents to indicate their levels of support for several cannabis-related policies using a 5-point like scale. So 1 to 5, do you like it? Yes. 1, no. 5, sort of thing, or the other way around, sort of. So their response was 75% for chronic pain patients and 73% for physicians. So it's about 75% of both of them returned the survey, so that's quite a high percentage, really, of who they asked returning it. So, but individuals with chronic pain showed more higher support, obviously, with the policies advocating for federal legalization of cannabis for both medical use, 70% and 54%, compared to physicians who wanted 59% and 38%,
Right.
respectively. So, with 38%, like what? You're a bit. That's mental. So
Yeah,
they,
you know, because at the end of the day, it comes down to personal freedoms, in my opinion. It's like
yeah.
it should be everybody, in my opinion. Again, it should be a case of well, adult use. Psh, yeah, but it's up to the person if they take it or not. It's like I don't know. It just seems wrong any other way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so basically, it's just really odd how the patients, obviously, they do who want. I think some of these patients have not used cannabis as well. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? Not just cannabis users. Some of them have not used cannabis. They're interested in the changing of the law so they can as well. So it's just really odd. So currently, 38 states and Washington D.C. have legalized medical cannabis use. So additionally, 24 states plus DC have legalized it for recreational use. But it still remains Schedule 1, and the doctors are still almost pretty much saying no, because only like 30 or 38% of them pretty much want the laws to change so they can use it. And to me, that's a bit sick, really, that even the
Mhm.
doctors are a bit skeptical. I can understand some skepticism, but that low is a bit like shit. Are you really not be bothered to do any research?
And
Like,
that's it, man. And today in 2024, that there's no excuse for ignorance. You know, you can go out and do some research in an afternoon that will convince you that cannabis is a good medicine when used properly. When you just these guys just haven't gone out and done the fucking research, you know.
but they could sit on the beach all day drinking tequilas in the
You
sun or in the
know.
shade on their phone
Mm-mm.
and still find out all the information that they need within that 6 hour period of doing that. And it's
Mm-hmm.
like that's all it'd take. Just sit there, do that. Oh, I'll have a little oh, the endocannabinoid system. I remember hearing that in Doctorhood, and then boom, like
You know, just a little bit of research. There's no excuse
yeah.
not to know this stuff now. There's no excuse, man. I mean, to know, to have all the facts and be like, yeah, I'm a little concerned about the about we can't dose it the way we'd like to, and I'm a little concerned about there's no studies about what different cannabinoids do and all of this. Then you'd be like, that guy knows what he's talking about, but he's a little bit skeptical of it. I can understand that. He's done his research, but he still wants to be a little bit skeptical. I don't know. I can appreciate that opinion a little bit more, but somebody who is just like, no, don't do it, who hasn't done their research, it's like, what are you talking about? Go and fucking inform yourself. You are a doctor in charge of people's health. Go and fucking do the research that's necessary. If so many people are coming out and speaking about cannabis as pain medication or any kind of medication, then do the fucking research, man. Jesus. He's not just one random person now and again popping up and being like, oh, I like cannabis. Can I use that? It's lots of people who are showing that this shit is working for them. Go and do the fucking research, man. In my opinion, again, you know.
Also said that this study is part of the National Institute on Drug Abuse funded project
Ah.
on the impacts of state medical cannabis policies on opiate related outcomes for people with chronic pain. So again, the doctors are straight away, oh, this is drug abusers want
Mm.
weed, and no, mate, opium's a lot easier. I make money out of that. Fuck your weed, right? So
You know, what about patient abuse, motherfuckers? Not giving
yeah,
patients the medicine that would actually be better for them.
seems the way. Yeah,
Less
it's
damaging, you know. No kidney damage, no fucking liver damage. Oh, gosh.
slightly infuriating. So
It is.
yeah.
It's like they don't even give a shit anymore.
Yeah, well, they
You know what I
don't.
mean?
This study again has proved it that they're not interested again.
Hmm. So yeah, the pain
Wankers.
specialists are not high, not high on improving access to medical cannabis. Disgusting, in my opinion. I think it's absolutely disgusting. You should be improving access to medical cannabis so those who want to use it as a medicine have the ability to use it as a medicine. Simple as that. Simple as that. And it's up to you as their doctor to inform them of which medicine is going to be best for them. You know what I'm
Yeah, with
saying?
so many states now changing their mind, you'd think they'd get on with it. I think,
Hmm.
hang on,
Hmm.
I better look into this.
Crazy shit, man.
Draconian.
But things are changing slowly. Maybe in 50 years we'll be there. Oh, god damn. Crazy shit, man. So let's have a look at another one. What do we get next? Let's go for the dark side of cannabis edibles and the fake packaging and all this shit. Because this is something that we've spoken about before in the past, about, you know, how in certain countries, and we spoke about this specifically with the High Ladies the last time they were in for an interview. Do you remember? They were releasing their own kind of cannabis, and there was all these ridiculous rules when it came to packaging. Like, it can't have bright font on it. It can't have a picture of a person. It can't have a picture of food. There's so many just random things thrown in there to make sure that it wasn't appealing to any youngsters. But at the same time, you'd see alcohol bottles. It just looks like a soft drink. All these bright colors, fruits, looks refreshing. And they're trying to say that it's not advertised to kids. But in the same way, if alcohol can be packaged in that way, why can't cannabis be packaged that way as well? It's ridiculous to have these different rules for different substances. They should all be treated equally, maybe. I don't know, because cannabis shouldn't even be treated as harshly as alcohol. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, this one here is the dark side of cannabis edibles, how fake packaging can mislead consumers and harm children. And, you know, won't somebody please think of the children? You know, they always go on about this shit. We have brand owners, government agencies, and law enforcement need to collaborate to combat the trend of selling cannabis edibles that imitate popular brands which pose a serious legal and public health issue. And this is talking about things like gummies, gummy bears that are packaged to look like gummy bears, or Starburst. You know, there's so many different things. You know, jelly babies, all these different sweets or candies that you can go and buy. And you can also get a THC version of them. But the person selling this in places where it's legal, you know, when it's illegal, then whoever's selling it. But when it's legally sold in a shop, then the person is going to be like, oh, can I see your ID? So though it might look brightly colored and everything, the person selling it needs to make sure that that person is within age to be consuming cannabis. And the person who is buying it knows that it contains THC and needs to treat it accordingly. Keep it out of the reach of children. It's nothing to do with the packaging. It's to do with bad ownership, in my opinion. You know what I mean? I don't think the kids are looking at it thinking, oh, I want to eat that because it's got all these brightly coloured things on it. If they see THC on it, that's why they want to eat it. That, you know, this is why kids go and steal vodka and then top it up with water, you know? Because they want the vodka in it. They don't like the colourful labels of it. Well, anyway, I'll read some of this. As more states legalize recreational cannabis, the incidence of children accidentally ingesting cannabis edibles has also risen dramatically. According to Pediatrics, a journal published by the American Academy of Pediatrics, the number of children under 6 years old who have consumed cannabis products surged by 1,375%. Wow. From 2017 to 2021. See Merritt S. Tweet et al. And then it leaves a link probably to a study or something. Pediatrics, January 3rd, 2023. Children between the ages of 2 and 3 years old were at a highest risk. Now let's just break that down for a second, everybody. Right? So these are talking about children who are young, under the age of 6. So whose fault is that? It's not the kids. I mean, if you're looking at teenagers, 14, 15, 16, you know, to 20, or, you know, people who are just on the age where they're going to be rebelling and doing this kind of thing, they're going to be specifically going out there looking for this kind of thing and, you know, trying it for themselves with their friends. That's what they do. They shouldn't be doing it, but everybody's been a fucking kid once. This is what kids do. You know, they rebel, they experiment. So that is to be, they'll look at the packaging and be like, oh yeah, that's got the weed in it, let's get that shit. But a kid under 6 years old, they're going to look at the packaging and yes, assume that it's sweets. But that doesn't change, you know, if you put it in a bland package. If they see sweets, they're going to want to eat them. You know, the problem here for children under the age of 6 is, and Pagan says it in the chat right there, it's parental neglect. This is down to the people who purchased these products in the first place and left them somewhere where a child can get hold of them. That is the parents' fault, man. It's nothing to do with packaging. It's nothing to do with the person selling it. It's nothing to do with illegality. It's down to the appalling choices of parents who have left them in the place where a child can get it. That's what I think anyway. What do you think about that, Billy?
yeah, same thing. It's parental actions is what
Mm-mm.
happens there. It's just stupid that some people would like that, but that's how it is, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Education again is what's important.
Exactly,
So
exactly. Yeah, it carries on here. A key factor contributing to this hazard is the growing sales of cannabis edibles that resembles and are packaged to look like popular candy, snack brands, and breakfast cereals. These cannabis edibles not only infringe the trademarks and trade dress of the legitimate and famous brands, but also pose significant risk to public health and safety, especially for children who may be attracted by the familiar appearance and packaging. Not once did it mention there that it was the parents' fucking fault. Not once. That's bad, man. No, is it not taken into consideration at all that this should be down to the people who are fucking buying it and leaving it in a place where kids can get hold of it? That's madness, in my opinion. I mean,
yeah,
sure, we can think about the packaging and shit, but that you also need to address the fact that this was left where somewhere a 6-year-old can get hold of it in the first place. You know,
I
you were
don't
saying,
agree
Billy?
with them. I don't agree with them ripping off the like trademark names of chocolate bars and all of
Hmm.
that malarkey. If you're gonna make your own cannabis edibles, then come up with your own name of shit, isn't it?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's don't rip off a big major company who're just gonna sue the arse of you and take your house off you. It's
Yeah,
like
man.
you just name it something different, innit? It's
Hmm.
like if your stuff's so good, you don't need their name branding of their shit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's like
This article continues here. We've got government action. The federal government has acknowledged the danger this trend poses to children and has taken action against dispensaries selling cannabis products designed to appeal to children that mimic the packaging of popular candies and snacks. In July of this year, the Federal Trade Commission, the FTC, jointly with the Food and Drug Administration, the FDA, sent a second round of cease and desist letters to businesses selling products in packaging that imitate treats and snacks that appeal to young children and which contained Delta 8 THC, a psychoactive compound derived from hemp that is not approved by the FDA. Jesus. So you're chasing after the packaging, but you're not chasing after the Delta 8 that isn't approved? Get yourselves in order, man. No, get your priorities straight. You know what I mean? Deal with that Delta 8 shit where you worry about the way a package looks. Federal Trade Commission, FTC and FDA send second set of cease and desist letters. This is a link to an article that's going to tell you more about that shit as well. It's madness, but again, they're focusing on what the packaging looks like and how it appeals to children, rather than put on the packaging, leave it as colourful as you like, but in big fucking font, right? Keep out of the reach of children. How does that sound? How does that sound? You know what I'm saying? And if anybody does, leave it in a place where children get hold of it. They should be prosecuted, like fined, maybe. I don't like fines. I think they're unfair, but you know, because rich people can pay a fine that would cripple somebody else. But you know, something needs to be done to make sure that adults are aware that they need to be responsible for their intoxicating elements, whether it's alcohol, mushrooms, tobacco, whatever it is, man. It needs to be kept out of the reach of children. You know, imprisonment is an
paracetamol.
option as well. I know imprisonment is definitely an option, but then you've also got to consider that you're taking parents away from the children. That's going to do more damage than the drug did in the first place. But something needs to be done to make sure that these people are aware that there will be consequences if they do something stupid and leave it in a place where children can get it. But you have to be really careful of what the punishments are, because then if a child does take it and the parents know there's going to be consequences, then they're less likely to take them to the emergency room when it might be needed. You know, so it's a real complicated issue that has got many different aspects to it that need to be taken into consideration. But what needs to be addressed is where it's left, where children get a hold of it. I think going after the people, the dispensaries who are legally selling this stuff, and the people who are packaging it, going after them, telling them, oh, this is a bit too flash, kids are gonna want to get to it. Yeah, kids might want to get to it, so put it somewhere where kids can't get to it, and that's it. It's done then. You know, fuck, it's ridiculous. Earthly Hemp in Cape Coral, FL, that's Florida, receives one of these letters for selling THC adulterated items, including slushers, fruit snacks, and Weedos, chips sold in packaging that was allegedly indicating an appearance of Frito-Lay's Flaming Hot Cheetos snacks. Okay, so it's just shit that looks like Cheetos. you know. The joint letter from the FTC and FDA stated that these products are likely to confuse consumers, especially children, who are more likely to focus on similarities of the product's appearance and packaging and less likely to notice or be able to comprehend labeling and text. But even if it was labeled different, it could have, these kids can't read yet. Let's just say, for example, these kids can't read yet, and they find on the table a bag of completely black, no text, no colors, no drawings, nothing, just an empty, not even empty, but it's a black bag, and they open it up and they see gummies in it. So there's nothing's attracted them to this package. They just like, oh, what's in here? And they have a look, they see gummies, they eat them, and they're THC gummies. Regardless of the packaging, the kid has got to it because it's been left there by the person who bought it in the first place. I won't keep going on about this point, but I think it's a huge point that has been completely overlooked by these guys in this article and these guys doing these studies, that regardless of what it looks like, it should be kept out of reach of children. Simple. Right, I think that specifies where I'm coming from with this. But this is a long-ass article, man, and if you want to go read it, it's over ipwatchdog.com, the dark side of cannabis edibles. If you search that, you'll be able to find it. But, it goes on for a while. I don't want to go on about it too much because we're just going to keep coming round and round back to the point of, regardless of what it looks like, it shouldn't be left in the reach of children. I mean, for example, I mentioned hooch earlier, and this is it's a Alco Pop is what it was called back in the day. I'm not sure if it's still around nowadays, but it was an alcoholic beverage that was essentially appealing to young adults, let's say young adults of legal drinking age, but still they wanted more of a fruity kind of drink rather than like a lager or something. And they had these bright colors on them. They got drawings and of lemons on there and shit, and it looks tasty, it looks refreshing, and it would appeal to children, but still it's kept out of the reach of them, until they were old enough to prove that they were old enough to drink them. It just seems like common sense. I think I'm going on a bit too much about this. Billy, you want to step in and say something?
No, I think you said it all there. You ranted for me in a way.
Thank you.
It's just stupid.
Efficient.
Efficient ranting on my behalf.
I just think it's foolish, man. And of course,
pathetic.
We do not want children getting hold of any kind of substance that's going to do them any damage in any way. But at the same time, if I want to go and buy, and it mentions nerds in the article here, let's say for example, a THC infused packet of nerds or fruit gums. I like fruit gums. So if they had an infused packet of that, then I'd like to buy it. You know what I mean? Even if it was the exact same packaging, but it's got a big fucking thing on it that says THC infused. Cool. So I know which one's which. Cool. I'll keep it out the reach of my fucking kids so they can't get hold of it. You know what I mean? I'll put it somewhere where they're not able to get hold of it. Pretty fucking simple. Stop letting kids get hold of the fucking weed. It's a silly thing to do. Be more responsible. Well, what do we have next, Billy? Let's move on to this next one. We got 141 new adult use cannabis licenses approved by state. What's this?
Yeah, this is New York State. So okay. This is very recent. This is an article from today, actually. So meeting this week in Albany, which is the New York State Cannabis Control Board. They approved the highest number of licenses at a single meeting to date, which was 141 adult cannabis licenses across the cannabis supply chain.
Okay.
So that's including micro businesses, cultivators, processors, distributors, and adult use retail dispensaries. The board has issued 1,132 licenses to date. So that's getting, and there's about 8 million people in New York as well. So
damn,
they're getting there. So what?
It's a big city.
Yeah.
Oh, they're probably talking about the state, the state of New York. Only there's 8 million people in the state. Okay.
Yeah. So what it is, the adult use cultivar licenses. So that's people to grow the weed. I assume is 15. The distributors are 16. These are licenses. So there's 15 and 16 licenses. The micro business license, I assume that's small mum and pop stuff.
Like craft grower or something.
Yep, that's 12 of them. The processor license is 71.
Damn.
So that, I assume that's to do with people sort
Making
of
hash
bagging it up.
oils and
Yeah,
maybe.
bagging it up as
Right,
well and
right.
all of
Yeah,
that
yeah.
stuff. Yeah, separating it and putting it into different things and
Trimming,
shit.
you know.
Trimming, yeah, yeah. And also, like the adult use retail dispensary license, 27.
Okay.
It doesn't sound many, but it's enough to do within that short period of time. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So if they can get these board meetings done quicker, then it seems like they might be able to get the numbers up a lot more. So this is, I think it's an exciting moment for the New York cannabis industry because there's tremendous growth in the entrepreneurship and innovation, they reckon. So with over 1,000 licenses this year alone. So it's quite a lot, I suppose, because that's what, like 100 a month on average then, because we're in the 10th month. So maybe it could be a bit higher, but at least 100 a month is still a reasonable number. You know what I mean? It's not like 10. There's a big difference between 10 and 100. So, yep. So the board meeting, they transition stuff. So during the week meeting, the board expressed its heartfelt gratitude to Adam Perry for his 3 years dedicated service of the board member. So members acknowledge his contributions, blah, blah, blah. They invited new people for the vice presidency and stuff like that. Passion for being part of the health and all that wank, really. So it's just like a big.
It doesn't say that.
It,
Yeah.
well, no, but it's like a big
You're
brown
paraphrasing,
nosing.
right?
Yeah, I'm paraphrasing. Yeah, it's this big brown nosing of people who have done shit and got paid a lot of money to not really do much.
Yeah.
Really, to be honest. Like, so yeah. But at the bottom here it says New York's cannabis market continues to demonstrate robust growth, with weekly sales increasing by $10 million since May.
Wow.
So that's bringing the total sales since the market launched to nearly 700 million.
Wow.
So that's quite a lot. So sales nearly reached $250 million in the third quarter. So
Fucking hell.
yeah, so there's lots of money. So it's a lot. 82% of the are SEE owned businesses as well. So that's quite a high amount of businesses that they have their fingers, their pies in. Right? So it's good that they're issuing a lot of new licensing, really, which is the main news, is that they're issuing a lot of licenses. So yeah. So we're getting there, and New York seems to be trying to do it quickly because they've noticed the money. So
I
hopefully now
wonder
with
if
new
these
people on board.
I'm just wondering if these licenses cost money or you have to apply for them or what.
I'm unsure, but I think some probably will. Yeah, you'd probably have to pay for the process of it to be like looked at, if you know what I mean. So I don't know but even still, it's worth it.
I don't know,
I don't
man.
know how much it is though.
Some of these licenses have been selling for hundreds of thousands.
Yeah,
It's a ridiculous amount of money. So people
if
can't
it's that
even
man,
be
that's
getting
stupid.
involved.
Yeah,
You know,
$1,000, I would say that's reasonable. I
I
mean,
don't
because
even know
you'll be
about
able to
that.
need. Yeah, but you need to have like $1,000. If you can't have $1,000, then now you're gonna have enough to process or to license or to employ people
Yeah,
or
but it's like, what does the
to
license fee actually go towards?
well, them making background checks of who you are, what premises are you growing on, what are you gonna do with the weed, sort of thing. They need them that sort of. I do. I think they
John
need to do
Colson
some
just
sort of
said in the
checks.
chat there, application form filled out and an application fee is paid. So maybe that's the case as well. It's like all these people have to pay the fee for the application, and they might not even get the license in the first place. You just fill in the application and pay the fee. So for God, that's a money
Yeah.
making venture all in itself. Don't even have to
Yeah,
sell a product.
obviously, it's a bit of a thing. There should be sort of different. But for a business, like if you haven't got $1,000 as a business, then shouldn't really be a business. If you know what I mean, it's not much money.
Yeah.
But for me, again, it's still not enough. They should maybe employ a lot more people to then get these licenses processed by more people, make the process slightly quicker. I don't know about the prices because that'd be down to them. But obviously, as long as it's not reaching the tens and hundreds of thousands, then I think it could be reasonable.
That's it. As long as it's
Because
reasonable and they can show this is why you have to pay this money for the license. You know what I mean? It's not like you're just paying this money because we said so. If they can be like, this is where your license money is going, we need it for these administration fees, we need it for these resources. You know, they're not going to
yeah,
understand that kind of thing. As long as they can show you where that money's going and what it's being spent on,
yeah, exactly.
and it's
That's what
not
I
just
mean.
going
Yeah,
into some fucking
that's why.
arsehole's pocket because he's got
That's why.
government friends.
Yeah, that's why I say $1,000 because I think we got to pay someone to come out to your premises where you're going to be doing it to have a look. So it's like
Hmm.
their travel fees, their wages for that week.
Yeah,
They've
yeah,
got to come out and visit you again for another week because that's at least 2 weeks' wages for someone at $500 a week. So that's again that's 1,000 covered there, isn't it? If you know what I
yeah,
mean, it's
yeah,
quite easily covered in that manner. So it's sort of like that's how I'd look at it in that sort of shape of things.
yeah.
but but it's more that they are processed a lot. So can they get this again up a lot more? Now they've got people swapping over, new people coming in, so it's bump it up, double it again, sort of thing. Double your workload, double the people, sort of thing. Double your licensing. Because New York's not that massive, even though it's quite big. With enough licensing by the end of next year, they could possibly then have enough to service enough people to keep it ticking over to
Hmm.
then
Hmm.
maybe more than small businesses to then step through a bit more once they've got enough
No, Billy
sort
the
of like
Kid in the chat there
commercial.
said in the UK to get a license will cost upwards of 1 million when I inquired non-starter, and it'll be the same for a lot of people, mate. It's one of the things that concerns me is like when we eventually do at some point get legalized cannabis here in the UK, to get a license is going to be far too expensive for for ordinary people like any one of us to be like, oh man, I love cannabis. I've been involved in this for a long time. I want to start my own business. I want to go out and grow some and sell it. They'll be like, oh yeah, no problem. Give us 1 million. It's like, fucking, I ain't got a fucking million. You know what I mean? And even if I did have 1 million, those cunts don't deserve it. Excuse me for using the C word there, everybody. But damn, it pisses me off, man. It's extortion, is what it is. That's what it is. It's like a shakedown. Like, no, you can't do it unless you give us the money. Cross my palm with silver. One of those fucking things. Cunts. Fuck. It makes me angry,
They
man.
said the cunts word again.
I said it again.
Yeah,
Jesus.
it's the fucking government. I blame the government. It's them cunts. That's their
Yeah,
fault.
that's right. I wouldn't have said
Yeah,
it otherwise.
yeah,
No, who was
exactly.
it? Who was it who said it there in the chat? I've forgotten the name. I can't see. I can't scroll. But yeah,
Some cunt in the chat you're on
yeah.
about.
Somebody in the chat wound me up by saying that. That's what it was. Saying the 1 million. Jesus, bastards, man. But yeah, one day we can dream.
So
We
you,
can dream.
so UK, what do you expect, man? We're always going to be extortionate on the licensing.
It's the
Plus, it's the
fucking
security.
Tories.
Yep, blame the Tories.
Yeah, Labour's in power
Well,
now. I'm not seeing any changes yet. So let's see what
yeah,
happens, man. Let's see what happens. Yeah,
it's always the
they're all the
Tories'
same.
fault.
They're all the same.
Even if Labour in power, it's always the Tories' fault because that's what Labour
Hmm.
say.
Yeah. It's fucked. They're all the same anyway. They just wear different color ties. You know how it is. It's all the same party,
Yeah,
really. It's like it's WWE, man. It's professional wrestling. They just make it look like there's actually something going on, but really it's all an act. They know exactly what they're doing. They work together. Yeah, Theresa May's husband probably got a discount. 100%, bro. He's the one who says how much you have to pay, probably. You know, not only got a discount, he's in charge of who gets the licenses. But that's a completely different story altogether. But damn, it's a piss
sausages.
take, man. Yeah, yeah. Gotta free those sausages, everybody. But we have one more story. Let's get there. We're already on the fifth story. That's crazy. It's flown by, this has. But let's have a look at this last one. And this is something that seems to... it doesn't affect me too much because I know my limits. Even though I am lightweight as fuck now. Ever since I quit smoking a couple of years ago, it's I just get hit so hard by cannabis now. I'll take like three draws on my cannabis cigarette, and I'm fucked. I'm fucked. My weed is far too strong. I want to just grow some CBD cannabis so I can actually just enjoy a joint without fucking getting smashed so hard off THC. It's just so strong now. And for anybody who is new and not experienced, when they first use cannabis, it takes a while to understand what your limits are, and it's easy to go too far, and it can become unenjoyable at that point. So this article here is 8 ways to get unhigh. So you get too high, but or not you, maybe a friend who's partaking in cannabis for the first time, or that who's not experienced enough, and they get a little bit too high. This is how you can fix that problem. Obviously, I don't get that problem. I don't get too high because I know just to have a few draws. If I had 5 draws, then I'd be too high. I'd be uncomfortable. So I only stick at 3. And it sounds ridiculous to just have 3 draws on a joint and be mad. You know, Billy got, what's that joint you got from Amsterdam, Billy? That the Hulk joint with 1.8
Yeah,
in it and it covered in keef and oh gosh, that
yeah.
that would
That
last me
mess
a
you up
week. That would,
proper.
yeah, fucking hell. Be like taking acid. You know, and Major Big Buds in the chat said I'm a bong person. I couldn't hit a bong now. Damn. I thought of hitting a bong, so I can't even smoke hash anymore. Smoke a bit of hash. I love hash. But to hit some hash, damn, I'd be so mashed. And it's not like I really want to work on my tolerance being any stronger. But anyway, we're going off on a tangent here. Let's stick to the story. We have 8 ways to get on high. The highs that people experience after smoking cannabis vary. Some people may feel anxious and nauseous. A person may want to get unhigh soon after smoking cannabis. Tips on how to get unhigh range from drinking water to taking CBD. I don't know about that. I haven't looked into any research about it, but does consuming CBD reduce how high you are if you've consumed THC? Because they work in conjunction with each other. And it's the THC goes to this or the CB2 receptor, CBD goes to the CB1 receptor in the brain. So they go to different receptors and shit as well. So I'm not sure if taking CBD can reduce the, you know, how skeptical would you be if you're on the verge of pulling a whitey or a greenie, whatever you call it, wherever you are, and you're like, oh no, I can't smoke anymore. And your mate's like, oh, it's all right. Here's a CBD joint. Smoke that instead. Would you be skeptical? Would you hit that shit? I'd be a little bit skeptical. I'd be like, no, I don't really want to smoke anymore. Oh, it's cool. It's CBD. It won't mash you up. No, I'm good. Please, no. But anyway, when a person smokes cannabis, tetrahydrocannabinol, which is THC, passes from the lungs into the bloodstream and then through the body to the brain. THC is the chemical that causes the high. The effects can be immediate and vary in potency. The effects of THC in cannabis depend on numerous factors, such as the potency of the weed, which is how much THC it contains, the person's prior experience with cannabis, so like the tolerance level, and that matters massively. You know, it's like some people can. I used to be able to just smoke as much as I like, you know, and not even get really high. I could smoke a Q in the morning, 7 grams of weed, and be mildly high. And now I take 3 fucking draws of a joint, and I'm mashed. So, you know, tolerance is a big thing that happens here. The environment the person is in as well. Set and setting is always important when you're taking mind-altering substances, even if it is mild, such as THC. Genetic factors, how quickly THC can break down in the body is another factor. And other drugs or substances, such as alcohol. And we all know that one, right? You know, when you're a little bit drunk, you've been out with your friends, you've gone and drank a bit much, and then you hit a joint, and it gets a little bit swirly. You know what I mean? But you know the swirlies, right? You know when you go to bed after you've drunk too much and you close your eyes and the whole room's just spinning around and shit. That's what I call the swirlies. And you don't want that shit. So all of those things make a difference. You know, they can all make a difference on how the cannabis affects you. When someone consumes cannabis in food or drink known as edibles, instead of inhaling it, the psychoactive effects tend to kick in much later as the THC must first pass through the digestive system. It can take from 30 minutes to an hour before a person feels any effects of weed if they eat or drink it. If they are smoking cannabis, the effects may occur sooner than this. Some people may get impatient while waiting for the high to consume, and consume more. This can lead to people feeling too high because they are experiencing reaction from 2 doses. And remember that, everybody, you know, wait until that shit kicks in before you take some more. Margaret would be able to explain all that shit better, you know, over on her podcast, Bite Me the Show About Edibles, where she specializes in making and consuming cannabis edibles. Consuming too much cannabis, either from smoking or eating, may result in a person wanting to come down from the high. It's not unusual to feel anxious, paranoid, or confused after overindulging in weed. Increased heart rate, nausea, hallucinations, and panic can also be effects of consuming too much of it. And even I get that, you know, when I do smoke a little bit too much, I can get a little bit of anxiety, you know, and just the mind wanders when I get a little bit too high, so I don't enjoy doing it so much. But it's definitely something that needs to be considered. But hallucinations, that's going to be like some heavy shit. You know, when you've got zero tolerance, you hit a couple of massive bongs, and you've got a lighter tolerance towards cannabis or THC. then yeah, maybe people can hallucinate. I mean, audio hallucinations, visual hallucinations, you know, maybe that is the case. These effects are unpleasant but wear off gradually over a few hours. However, some people may wish to accelerate this process. Keep reading to learn more about what people can do to reduce the high. Note that many of these tips are anecdotal and based on animal studies, which may lack rigorous human research. But yeah, you know, we should know people who are experienced enough to be able to, you know, tell people how to not be so high. There's ways to come down. So shift the focus and relax is the first one they recommend here. If a person fixates on how high they feel, it sometimes leads to more intense feelings of panic and a sensation of being out of control. Doing something to occupy their mind may reduce feelings of being high. For example, people can try listening to some favorite music. Highly recommended. Watch a film. Sorry. That's my dog coming in. Give me a second. Thanks for interrupting, bro. Thanks for interrupting. So professional. Jesus. All right, I'll edit all that out. Don't worry, everybody. Watching a film or some funny clips online. That's what, you know, flick through the reels. Take your mind off being high. Because, you know, if you're just sitting there dwelling on how fucking wasted you are, it's just going to get worse and worse. It'll snowball and you'll start being more and more anxious. So something to take your mind off, like watching a film or random YouTube videos. You know, just something that's going to take your mind off things is always a good idea. Doing some breathing exercises or yoga. Doing a jigsaw, doodling, or playing a computer game. Doing something creative, such as playing an instrument or painting. Being productive in a simple way, such as organizing a wardrobe or doing some cleaning. I don't know about that last one. That last one sounds a bit shit. You know what I mean? But anything else, I mean, doing a jigsaw puzzle is cool. Anything that's going to take your mind off. You know yourself what you enjoy doing. So you just think of something that's minor, nothing too complicated, and you can just sit there, do something, build something out of Lego. I don't know, do what you enjoy the most, and something that's going to take your mind off it. Keep your mind distracted, and that will help you not focus on being so stoned. 2, hydrate. Drink plenty of water, tea, and other soft drinks to keep hydrated can also minimize discomfort from being too high. Having a dry mouth, they've got some xerostomia, is the word for dry mouth. Wow. From smoking or ingesting cannabis can make a person feel worse. The American Dental Association indicates a link between using cannabis and oral dryness. Be mature. Well done, Billy, for staying quiet there.
Yeah, it's called cottonmouth, isn't it?
Yeah, cottonmouth.
Yeah.
A person could avoid drinking alcohol when they feel already too high. It can worsen the effects of the weed and the high feeling. So, and you know, when it says hydrate as well, I've heard before, and I'm not sure it's in this article here so far, but drinking something high in sugar, because if you get really like badly stoned and you're going through this whole whitey process, your blood sugar is going to drop. So if you can drink something like orange juice, that can restore the blood sugar and make you feel a lot better really quickly. So if somebody's going through that, if they're hitting the stage where they're having a whitey and they need to come back down quickly, then a nice sugary drink should be able to fix some of those problems. And natural sugars as well, not this shit like Pepsi and Coca-Cola and things like that. A nice fruit drink, pineapple juice, orange juice, apple juice, something like that. That would work nicely. Eat. Some evidence suggests that cannabis consumption can lead to increased hunger and appetite. However, there are no scientific studies to support the anecdotal claim that eating will diminish the psychoactive effects of weed. According to an older article in the British Journal of Pharmacology, compounds called terpenoids found in some plant foods might have therapeutic properties that may serve as an antidote to cannabis high. There is need for more research to confirm the benefits of these plant compounds. Foods containing these compounds include pine nuts, lemons, peppercorns, and others as well. There's lots of different foods you can take, but again, when the blood sugar drops low, if you have a sugary, like some fruit or something like that, that's going to help you feel a lot better as well. So consider that if you're a little bit too wasted. Let's go on to the next one. Take a shower. Always a good option. You know what I mean? If you're a little bit too wasted, take a nice warm shower.
I think that's a bad option.
Do you think so? Why's that?
Yeah, because if you're not feeling that well, you're more prone to fall over, aren't you?
Maybe. Maybe.
Yeah, so
you can sit down in the shower if you wanted to, like, feel really sad, you know?
Yeah, exactly. yeah, you could just sit there and rock.
And just,
should have done that.
That Maui Wowie was far too strong.
Yeah.
But, you know,
it's that last two-toe.
A nice cold shower, a warm shower, whatever's gonna, bring you out of the situation. That can help as well. I think that's up to the individual. You would know if this is gonna make you feel better or not. So consider that. Or, if it's happening to a friend, tell them to go and shower. Don't shower them. That can be a little bit pervy. So be aware of that. Don't do that. Yeah, taking a shower is definitely an option. I wouldn't say a bath is a good idea because, like you were saying there, you could fall asleep. You don't want to fall asleep in the fucking bath. You know what I mean? End up like Whitney.
No,
Maybe that's
Whitney
an
Houston
inappropriate
baths
joke. You know
here.
what I mean? That's right. That's right. But R.I.P. What a diva, legend. But anyway, walk it off. Getting the body moving, even just a short stroll, can help regulate blood pressure. It can also take a person's mind off their current situation. Breathing deeply to replenish the air in the lungs and change the scenery can also help distract the mind away from high feelings. And of course, walking it off, don't do that on your own. Make sure you are with somebody who can keep an eye on you and look after you. Make sure you're not walking into any roads or any dangerous situations. You don't want that kind of thing. So if you are considering walking it off, if you are a little bit wasted, then don't do that on your own. I would advise doing that accompanied by somebody, a responsible adult, as they say. So yeah, be careful of that one. Talk it through. A friend can be a voice of reason when somebody is not thinking clearly. Speaking with someone who puts things into perspective can be a great way to stop high thoughts.
Or they just take the piss out of you, white it
and
out,
make
and
it even
put
worse.
it on the internet.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Oh, look at this knobhead. Look,
you smoke too much. Yeah, it's not cool. Not cool. Don't do that,
drawing
everybody.
big penises on your head and stuff when you're whited out.
I mean, you can do that if you're young and your kids and shit. Just don't film it. You know what I mean? Don't embarrass people like that. Yeah, just don't film it. I think that's shit. You can have these laughs between yourselves when you have friends. And back in our day, when we were kids, we didn't have these cameras in the pocket. Yeah, things have changed now. Yeah. Everybody films
nowadays, you're live on TikTok to 10,000.
Maybe that's one of the reasons why kids, take drugs less than they used to back in our days, because they know, oh no, if I get fucked, old Billy over there is going to draw a cock on my face, and then put me up on Instagram. God damn. Yeah, so maybe that's why. It's got to be one of the reasons.
That's good incentive, though, isn't it? I suppose. Don't do drugs or you get a cock drawn on your face and put on the internet.
Right, so number 7 here, we have try some CBD, which is an option. One older study showed that taking CBD can help reduce some of the more unpleasant side effects of taking cannabis, such as intoxication, sedation, and racing heartbeat. CBD and THC are both cannabinoids derived from the cannabis plant. THC is responsible for the psychoactive effect of weed, while CBD on its own has a non-intoxicating effect. CBD may reduce THC high by blocking cannabinoid receptors in the brain and preventing THC from activating them. A person could try dabbing some CBD oil on the tongue or consuming CBD gummies. And placebo effect is a thing as well, so maybe that's an option. Just make people think that they're taking some CBD gummies. And the next one, sleep. This is the last one here. The fastest way to get on high is to sleep, and that's it really. If you're too fucking mashed, head to bed, take a nap. You're going to be feeling much better when you wake up, hopefully. Whether it be a nap or a long sleep, sleeping will allow time to pass, which will in turn allow the effects of the THC to wear off. However, if a person is feeling anxious after smoking weed and consuming edibles, falling asleep may be difficult. A person could try one or several of the above methods before trying to fall asleep. Yeah, so, and there's no shame in it either, everybody. Well, I suppose there's shame in it if you are an experienced smoker, experienced cannabis user, and you've gone and been stupid and just consumed more than you should have knowingly, and you got fucked up. Then you should be more responsible than that. You should be consuming cannabis responsibly, everybody. If it happens to a friend or somebody who's new to cannabis, there's no shame in that, man. Everybody has to test their levels at some point, and it takes a little bit of practice to get used to what you can handle and what you can't. So just be careful.
Everyone's done it.
Yeah. And if you are an experienced cannabis user and you know a friend who wants to try cannabis, then it's difficult. Well, I think it's difficult anyway, because you don't want to babysit people. If they get too mashed, so make sure that they are fully informed of what's about to happen and just be ready to look after them if it's necessary. Well, hopefully it doesn't get to that. It's never a good thing to do. It's not, to look after somebody when they're wasted and shit. It's a lot of pressure, man. So just bear that in mind. Make sure everybody who wants to consume cannabis is doing it safely and aware of the consequences if they take too much. But also, if they do take too much, they need to know that it's not going to be crazy for long. and it's easily fixable. You know, just try and reassure them the best I can. But an interesting article I found. This was from medicalnewstoday.com about how you can get unhigh. And let us know your stories, everybody. If you've got too high at some point, you've gone on a whitey or a greenie, whatever you call it. Well, let us know what you do call it in the comments and in the chat and shit. Let us know what you think, man. If you got massively wasted before. I have, just a couple of times. Maybe even once, really. I only can remember it once, but maybe another time. I don't know. Yeah. Anything to add to this one, Billy?
No, I just think like something warm and sugary and asleep is probably the best thing, just to keep
Cup
yourself.
of tea, mate. Cup of tea. British Empire was built on a cup of tea.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Or like some cake and custard and then like a snooze for 30 minutes or something like that. You'd be fine.
Yeah, just be careful, everybody. And if you do have a friend who is taking a little bit too much, then you know, look after them and be nice to them, reassure them, put yourself in their position and think about how it feels to be too wasted. It's not cool. Right, so there's not really any forum news to add. We've got the Halloween competition up and running, so head over to percysgrowroom.com. We're giving away a desktop vaporizer from Ariza over at Percy's for the winner of this Halloween competition. So go and check it out. You just have to enter something that you've decorated for Halloween, and then there'll be a public vote to see who the winner will be. And you get this nice desktop vaporizer from Ariza.com. Check those guys out, man. Well, other than that, when it comes to forum news, I think that's everything. Anything to add, Billy?
No, that's it, man. Cool.
Yeah. Just a quick shout out to Margaret there. She's not here today, but you know, if you want to learn anything about edibles, head over to bitemepodcast.com and you'll be able to learn about edibles over there. Sweet. That's everything. Let's take a quick smoke break, Billy. And the screen is already ready for the snail race. How long are we going to do the snail race for? We're going to do 4 minutes 20 seconds.
Go, ain't you, really? There ain't no other number.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's going to have to be 4 minutes 20 seconds. Let me just put that in. 4, 2, 0. Let's take a quick look at this list of names. There's 43 names. We have Firetop, Jack Adam Bomb, Butters, Fill Me Balls. That's Fill Me Balls, not Feel Me Balls, as somebody commented on YouTube this week. Jesus, everybody. Jesus. The Big Bad Wolfie, Savans, Grape Ape, Lucent, Bang Switch, Hawk 518, Cooley 1DC, Cookie Grow, OBX Bud, J Dog, Racing Bud, Improper Weed Viking, Plain Coat, Hippopotamus, Artman, Type 1 Grower, Lousy Tourist, Bassman, Hashimoto, yeah. Laszlo, Poster Boy, Irish Grower 420, Morgasmo, Red Eyed Optimist, Trover Dog, RU25CO, Corny Token, MOP, G0420, Big Smoking, Deadless, Fricker, Carry Mass, UK Grow 89, Easy Target, Gold Seal, Aussie Jim, and Flipper 1973. So there we go, 43 people in, and we're ready to go. I'm just going to press set. There we go. There's all the people. I'm going to turn the music off before we even start, because fucking hell, that music's terrible. Are we ready to go? I think so.
Let's go.
It's 3, 2, 1, go. Okay. Now we're just going to sit here watching snails for the next 4 minutes, everybody. Good luck. Good luck. And there's more competitions like this over at Percy's. If you want to take part in the next snail race, then head over to percysgrowroom.com and get involved in some of the competitions over there. It's all free. So get involved. Don't be shy. Yeah, what are you saying, Billy?
As you say, they're off to a racing start, ain't they? Like,
yeah, it's so fast. Look at them.
Yeah,
they're so eager.
Launched. Yeah.
Yeah. Frickar up there. All up Grower 420's using up all of his energy early. You know.
You don't want to be seeing yourself at the front early. You're going to lose. Everyone knows the secrets of the snail race. There's always going to be some slippery, slimy.
That's right. Improper Weed Viking all the way at the back there, sneaking up.
Yeah, that's where you want to see your name at the back or in the middle somewhere, like Bassman or Red Eye of Jedi's spot, like.
Yeah, man. And while this random shit's going on as well, let's do one of those comments competitions that we do. Let's do a snail race next week as well during the smoke break, but it will be for people who comment on this video. Yeah, so when the video is finished and you can comment on it, make sure you come back, drop a comment. You know, just mention something, just a comment about any part of the show so far. Make sure you hit the like button as well while you're here. And yeah, we'll add all of the names of the people who comment on this video to a list next week. And then we'll do another snail race. How does that sound, everybody? We can give away, I don't know, let's do 5 monkey beans. Monkey beans, nice and easy. Sounds good. Nice. 2 minutes and 45 seconds left. We have Racing Bud in the lead so far. Phil, me balls just about to take the first place there. Deadless sneaking up as well. Nice. What's up, Adam
Top's
Bomb?
still out front. He's been there for ages now, lurking near the front.
Yeah, he's
Poor Fire
taking his
Top.
time. Yeah, it doesn't look well there. He's got joined us or something. That's a proper
Yeah.
yellow snail. That is. What the fuck?
Isn't it? Does look a bit ill, doesn't he? Right.
Yeah. Gosh.
He's been on it this weekend.
Yeah. Which one's looking pale? Who's been smoking too much cannabis? Who's having the white tea?
Yeah. Who's having the whitey? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's a grey one there. He's greyed out. I don't know what his name's not there. Ends in ST. His name. Anyway, he's a grey one.
A grey one.
But it's just there. There's a grey one right in the middle. Just
Gosh,
below Irish grower, and there's two growers, and
Okay.
he's sandwiched in between two
Irish
growers.
grower, type grower. Oh, that's
Yeah.
lousy tourist, maybe.
Yeah, there you go. It is lousy tourist. There you go.
There he is.
He's looking a bit sad and grey.
All right. Coming up to 90 seconds. Who's that? Is that Plane Co. there in the lead, being taken over by Racing? But you see these snail races? They're so fun. Yeah, I saw a race the other day on the internet, on the X, I think it was on, where they did an actual tortoise versus hare race, and the fucking spoiler alert, but the tortoise won. Yeah, cheeky bastard. It's like the parable is real. It's a true story.
The hare just sits there and don't want to do shit.
Yeah, he was just sniffing around.
Yeah.
Funny, it was some Chinese guys betting on it. Yeah, they'll bet on anything.
That's not surprising. Chinese guys betting on some stupid race.
Yeah, they love to gamble.
They'd be on having betting on this now, mate. This big dude's there fucking losing his house on the fucking on J Dog. All his money's on J Dog.
Rickard's gonna win.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. You're moving snail, says Phil. Ooh, it's getting tense now. 30 seconds left, everybody.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Left. Who's it going to be? Who's going to sneak up from the back there? Who's going to sneak up?
Sneaking
up from behind.
Sevens is sneaking up there.
Yeah, he's just got Weed Viking. I'm telling you, that Weed Viking has been lurking back there. That's who my money's on.
Flipper is lurking as well. They're all starting to get a bit closer
10
now.
seconds now.
There's a movement
9,
going.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Who's it gonna be? Oh, who's it gonna be? Oh, that was fucking close. That was.
What a winner.
Grape
What
Ape.
a winner. I don't know where he come from. Never seen the whole race.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
So there we go, Grape Ape. Give us a shout over at the forum. And we'll send you whatever the prize was. Decent prize as well. Nice prize over at Percy's. And I said if we're going to do 50, whoever sent the most messages. No, just you just enter. If you get, I think it was more than 10 posts, then you just be like, yeah, I'd like to enter, please. And then you get added. So it's that's what you have to do to enter. You have to be a member of Percy'sGrowroom.com. It's nothing to do with the YouTube's stuff there. 69 in chat supposedly, huh? Yeah, as I said, baked and awake and great. It's nothing to do with the chat. It's over at Percy'sGrowroom.com. If you want to take part in that. So I don't like the way you're saying this. Oh, it's random supposedly, bro. You're just gonna show up out of nowhere and accuse us of shenanigans? Jesus. Anyway, let's ignore this guy. Well, congratulations again to Great Ape. Yeah, if anybody wants to take part in the next one, then head over to Percy'sGrowroom.com, sign up and get involved in the next competition there. Nice. But I say competition. There's not really a competition. It's just a random snail race. But good show. Good show. Let's let me, how do I get this off the screen now? There we go.
Pressing buttons.
There we go. Congratulations. So yeah, we'll do it again on next week's show. As I say, this week, if you comment on this video when it's finished, then I'll gather all the names up for next week and we'll do another snail race for next week. So we can all get another chance at winning some beans. Sounds like a good plan, man. My mouse is still pissing me off. You know, I mentioned last week that it just double clicks for no reason. And I click the button and it double clicks. I think it's where I'm pressing it or something. I don't know. I think I just need to get a new mouse to stop it from happening, man. It's doing my fucking head in. I want to get rid of this part. 44%. HOHG is cool. And who likes polls? Look, HOHE is cool. Yes, came second is 43, and no is 21%. 21%, a whole fifth of people do not like polls. Gosh.
That's all right. But they still voted, so that's
Yeah, they still voted.
yeah,
So thanks for participating there, everybody. Much appreciated.
They may not like your poll, but they still rubbed it.
Yeah, brilliant. Thanks, Billy.
That's right.
But with that, I think it's time to just move straight on to the grow guides then. Are you ready to move on, Billy? You need to get a drink or anything?
No, I'm cool. I've got my milkshake. I am sweet.
I seen he says, sounds racist. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Funny, yes. Sorry, just reading through chat there. Anything I need to notice? No, I think we're good. Let's move on and talk about some of the frequently asked questions about growing cannabis then. Let's do it. So episode 15. By now, if you are following the guide from the start, from episode 1 up until now, then you would have learned everything you need to know about growing cannabis so far, and your plants should be just beginning to flower. The pom-poms will start to show. You've been able to identify the sex. You know what's going on with the medium. You got all your nutrients sorted. Everything's done at this stage, and it's it's just straightforward from here. Keep feeding the plant nice and happily. Let the flowers grow nice and strong, and you'll end up with a nice harvest at the end. So we're just going to interject with the whole grow process by adding some, last week we spoke about the best books to get. This week we're going to speak about, the frequently asked questions about growing cannabis. And we're just going to fill in all that stuff there about what you can do in between the flowering process while the flowers are actually growing. Cool. Nice. All right, so where do we begin? We got an article over Percy'sGrowroom.com which talks all about the frequently asked questions, and I do have it linked here. Let me just open that up. Open link in tab. Sweet, so we can talk through them. So you can head over to Percy'sGrowroom.com as well, and if you just search for frequently asked questions in the search box, you'll find all of these questions over there. So feel free to do that. I'm gonna just get straight stuck in, really. I think Billy, anything to say before we get stuck in? Frequently asked questions?
No.
Yeah, cool.
Let's go.
All right, so the first one is, and I suppose this is mainly for like new growers, is can I grow cannabis if I don't have a green thumb or gardening experience? And this is something that you find with a lot of people who want to start growing their own cannabis, is it would be a case of, oh man, I wouldn't even be able to grow a plant. I would kill it. And this is what lots of people think, but this is much easier to do than most people anticipate, I have found anyway. You know what I mean, Billy?
Oh yeah, it's really easy. I didn't think I'd be able to grow until I started growing, and it's like, oh, actually, this is really a piece of piss.
Yeah, and I think that's the same for most people, is that they were thinking, oh, it's going to be really difficult. I'm going to kill the plant. I'm going to feed it too much. What do we even do? What light does it need? And there's so many unanswered questions when you first start growing cannabis, and it can be really intimidating. So people don't even begin to do it in the first place. So whether you've never grown anything before, or whether you've grown loads of shit in your garden or allotment or greenhouse or whatever, then you just need to get stuck in with growing cannabis. It's a learning curve for sure, but it's not a real big learning curve. It's real simple. It's a very forgiving plant. It's very hardy, and it's just real easy to grow if you just take it step by step. And of course, these grow guides can help you. If you know somebody or you want to learn yourself how to grow cannabis, then just go back to episode 1 and we take it step by step, and we keep it all really simple. There's not some stupid scientific shit that we put in there to try and make it really complicated, or we want to sound really smart, so we use complicated scientific words and lingo. We keep it simple. You make sure where everybody can follow what we're talking about, so then you can get a nice little cannabis grow up and running. And you'll see, even after you first grow, when you get to the end, or even when you're fucking halfway through it, you'll be like, damn, this was much easier than I expected. And it will usually go from you learning how to grow cannabis into growing lots of other plants as well. I grow lots of other plants now, but the first plant I really learned how to grow was cannabis plants, and it was much easier than I expected. But don't get it twisted. There are things you can do wrong, but it's going to fuck things up. But if you follow these grow guides that we've made here, and if you go over and sign up to Percy'sGrowroom.com, and if you have any questions or need any help, then you can just ask there. It's all completely free. Just head over there and we'll be able to guide you in the right direction every step of the way. So yes, you can grow cannabis even if you don't have a green thumb, because it will make your thumb green. Trust me. You know, everybody will say the same thing. So that's the first question I find anyway. You know, the people who are a little bit apprehensive to start growing because they think it's just going to be useless and they're not going to get it right in the first place. But you will. You'll do just fine. Don't worry. So another one is, where can you even get cannabis seeds from? And we've covered this in some great detail in one of the episodes. I think it might be like episode 4, episode 3 or episode 4, maybe episode 5, which was specifically about getting cannabis seeds. And we covered what type of cannabis seeds to get, you know, what each type of cannabis seeds does, feminized seeds, regular seeds, photo period, auto flowering. We covered lots of different things, and different seeds you can get depending on what kind of cannabis you want to grow as well. You know, CBD or THC, all of it gets covered quite extensively in that episode. So pretty much to get cannabis seeds, you just order them online, and it's best to go with a reputable seed bank like seedsman.com is a very good one. Good cheap seeds, quality seeds for a good price, and reliable shipping as well. If you want really discreet shipping, which if you're growing illegally you might want to do that, then head to alibongo.com and buy some of their bongo bulk. And Billy, you just grew some bongo bulk, didn't you, saying the bubble gum?
Yeah, that's what I'm smoking tonight, so the bubble gum. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Like I said,
beautiful.
it's bubble gummy.
Yeah, and Ali Bongo they have discreet shipping. So yeah, if you make sure you ask them for it, so they know to send the discreet shipping, and you won't even know about this cannabis seeds in there. So if that's a problem for you, make sure you go to Bongo Bulk. But there's loads of different places you can go to. You just got to figure out which seeds you want and then go and find them. And just get them from a reputable place. And Seedsman is always a good one. The Vault is a good one. Ali Bongo is a good one. Dutch Passion, Barney's Farm. And there's lots of good places to go where you can go and get cannabis seeds. So if that is a question you need answering, definitely check out the episode that we have, which we did, as I say, episode 4 or 5, I think it is, where we speak specifically about where to get seeds and what type of seeds you should be getting as well. So that is all covered in a previous episode. So if that is a question you are wondering, then the answers are there in that episode. Go and check it out. Then once you get the seeds, the next one is, how do you germinate them? And man, I remember first learning how to germinate seeds, and I thought it was really difficult. It has to be done this certain way. You have to get the paper towel. You have to put it. So I killed more seeds out of caring for them too much than I did by not caring, by neglecting them. You know what I mean? I'm sure you've been there, Billy.
Oh yeah, obviously I still do it now sometimes. They've left for an extra day to dry out, and you're like, fuck. Oh
Yeah.
well, get some more.
That's right. And this is another thing that we covered specifically in one of the episodes of the podcast as well, is how do I germinate cannabis seeds? And you can just go back to that episode. That again, it's in the early part of the Grow Guide series that we have going on here. So we're looking at episode 4 or 5, which covers germinating cannabis seeds specifically. And there's loads of different ways to do it. And the majority of people will start off doing something called the paper towel technique, where you would get a saucer or a small dish. You'll put a few layers of a paper towel or a kitchen roll on the dish, and then you'll wet it. Just damp, so it drips a little. You shouldn't have too much water running off it. You'll put your seeds on there, and then you'll cover it again with another paper towel, and then you'll seal it by wrapping it up with cling film or saran wrap to make sure that none of the air can escape. And that locks in the moisture. That's the most common way that people would germinate their cannabis seeds. Then after just a couple of days, you'll see a little white taproot coming out of the seed, and then you'll plant it in some medium. So it's really easy. It's really easy to do. So you just
a lot of them out there. I was just saying, a lot of them out there will probably have a problem with getting it wet and keeping it wet, though, wouldn't they?
Brilliant.
And tissues.
Any Patreon interviews this week? Cookie Grow said. Don't have any organised just yet, but there might be some as the calendar gets full up. Sometimes they pop up out of nowhere. But we have one next week. I'm gonna have to edit all this out now. Gosh, Cookie Grow, and put a Q. Gosh, bro. But we got David Bienenstock coming on next week from the Greatest Moments in Weed History podcast. He'll be joining us on Tuesday next week, so stay tuned for that. But we've got some other special streams coming up because Halloween's coming. You know, we've got some big world events coming up very soon. So we got some special streams that we are planning very soon. So keep an eye out for those as well. But anyway, yeah, back to the germinating seed thing. So go back and check out the episode if you are concerned about germinating cannabis seeds, because we go over loads of different methods and you'll be able to pick a certain way that's best for you and what's going to work best for your seeds. So don't be afraid. It is much easier than you think it is, like all of this is. Right. So that's how to germinate cannabis seeds. Here's another one. How long does it take to start a cannabis grow? No, sorry. How long does it take to grow cannabis from start to finish? And this is how long is a piece of string kind of thing. Like, it differs. And again, this is covered in a previous episode as well, because, you know, we're covering as many details as possible. And these frequently asked questions are, of course, covered in more detail in each of those episodes. But we cover the life cycle of a cannabis plant from start to finish. So from when you germinate the seed up until when you harvest it and dry it and shit. But for most people, on average, 16 weeks seems to be the right amount of time. Like, it can go a little bit more if you go in sativa based sativa based photoperiod plants, but for auto flowering plants, about 12 weeks is good. 12 weeks from seed to harvest, that seems to work. But 14 to 16 weeks seems to be a good amount of time. That includes the drying period and a couple of weeks cure as well, to make sure that the weed's really good. You know, so it doesn't take a massive amount of time. But if you can put, and Cookie already say, sorry, bro, I'm only winding you up, mate. Don't worry about it. I'm only joking. And now you've thrown me off again, bro. I shouldn't read chat while we're doing the fucking live. It should be certain moments I go and read it, but it's really distracting sometimes. Yeah, so go and check out the episode about the life cycle of growing cannabis, because that will explain everything from the seedling stage to vegetation, regenerative stage, flowering stage, harvesting. It's all explained, and we're going into loads of detail about how to start it and what stage it all goes through there. But if you're looking on average, 4 months, man, 4 months, that seems to be the right amount of time where you should be started and finished in that amount of time pretty easily. Yeah. So, and that includes the drying and curing bit as well. So that's from seed to having stuff in the jar that you can smoke. So it doesn't take too long in comparison to many other plants. I mean, and I've mentioned this on the show before as well, that when I started growing, I was only growing cannabis, but you venture out and you start growing other things. And I wanted to grow a bonsai tree, and I got the seeds in and shit, and it was like, yeah, just put this shit in water and then add it to the soil and then wait for 6 months. And it's like, are you fucking serious? And that's when I realized bonsai wasn't right for me. 6 months to germinate a fucking seed. You can get a whole grow done in that amount of time. So yeah, about 16 weeks on average seems to be a good amount of time. Would you agree with that, Billy?
Yeah, I think like the 4 months is probably about right. 3 grows a year.
Yeah. And you can squeeze in 4 if you rotate things correctly. But yeah, man. It seems to be, if you're growing outdoors, that's going to be different. Might as well add that while we're here. If you're growing outdoors, especially photo period plants, it could take 6 months, and maybe even longer from from spring through summer into fall, when you harvest the plants at the end of October here, like you would do around now, Croptober as they call it. So if you're going outdoors, it's going to take a little bit longer. But on average, it takes between 14 and 16 weeks from germinating the seed, getting to harvest, drying it, and curing it a little bit. You should have plenty of cannabis to smoke in that amount of time. So get started, man. It's not going to... the quicker you start, the quicker it will be finished. So get started. All of the information is here in our Grow Guide series and over at percysgrowroom.com. So get on it, man. All the information is ready for you. You just have to get involved and get started. Right, so the next one. How much light does a cannabis plant need during each growth stage? Good question. You want to take this one away, Billy? You want to answer some of this?
Well, I suppose it depends on what you're growing and where, isn't it? Really, that's relative. If you're growing outside, then you obviously want as much sun and less shade as possible, isn't it? If you're growing indoors, again, it's down to the size of your room and what light you got. If you've got 1,000 watts inside like a 2x2, then maybe that's a bit overpowered and you want to turn it down a little.
Yeah.
So I think it's relative to what you're growing and where you're growing, really, isn't it?
There is a few things. It needs a lot of light. It's not a plant that likes to be grown in the shade. It likes to be grown in full sunlight. And there's this thing called DLI. It's called the daily light intake of a plant. And you will know if your plant has had too much light because it will kind of fall asleep at the end of the day. You know, you're coming up to the end of the light cycle. Say the plant's on 18/6, 18 hours of light and 6 hours of darkness. As it comes towards the end of the day, if you're giving it too much light, then it will start to droop. It'll look like it's falling asleep. You know, it's got everything it needs for that specific day. So now it's just going to rest. So that's something to bear in mind. But usually, if you're just using the standard grow lights for indoors, then that's going to be plenty of light. It won't be too much unless you're going excessive. You know, if you're using the HLG Diablo Scorpion for one plant, and a seedling using it on full power, that might be a little bit too much light for that plant. It might stress it out a bit too much. But damn, I think they prefer to have too much than not enough. As long as the plant isn't getting burnt and shit, and, you know, just keep adding a shitload of light to it. Now, when people first start growing, lights are very expensive, you know, both to buy and to run them as well. So people try and cheap out by getting something cheap like CFLs, and it can be done with enough CFLs. And that's a compact fluorescence, just normal, well, not even normal household lights anymore because they're usually LED. You know, just low level lights. You need enough of them. The plant will tell you if it's not getting enough light. It'll be stretching too much. It will seem weak. It won't be getting enough. But you do need a decent light if you're growing indoors. And you do need to plant it in direct sunlight if you're growing outdoors. Right? Would you agree with that, Billy?
Yeah, I think so. Direct sunlight's definitely the way to go forward if you can.
And then we're also talking about how much light does it need. You might not be talking about how much like actual light it's getting, but how many hours of the day. And for most plants, for the vegetative stage, 18 hours of light per day and 6 hours of darkness per day is plenty. That is usually does the job well. But some people like to do it on 20 hours of light and 4 hours of darkness. Some people would do 24 hours of light fully. But the minimum you would go to really is 16 hours of light and 10 hours of darkness, because that will keep it in the vegetative stage and it won't flower. Anything less than that and you kind of risk it going into the flowering phase, which you don't want too early. And then when we're talking about flowering, if it's auto flowering plant, and again, all this is discussed in the life cycle episode, the life cycle of cannabis plant episode, and also in the seed episode as well. But auto flowers, you can keep on the 18/6 all the way through their life cycle and they'll flower. But when a plant goes into the flowering stage, if it's a photo period, it needs 12 hours of light and 12 hours of darkness. So, and that's about all you need to know about the lighting. It's real basic. It's nice, easy thing to do once you get, 18/6 for veg, 12/12 for flower. Nice and easy. Unless it's an auto, then it's 18/6 the whole way. See, it's real simple. Just don't get lights that are too strong for it, which is very hard to do anyway, because these plants love light. So it's easier to give it less light than it needs than giving it too much, I find. You got to get good lights. It's too easy to use shit ones. And this kind of works into the question here. The next one, can I use regular household lights for growing cannabis indoors? And it's like, you can, but the better light you give them, the better yield you're going to get. It's going to take the light you give it. It's going to turn that light into food with the process of photosynthesis. And then it's going to help the plant grow. So the more light you can give it, the better, really. And you can use CFLs. We've got guides over on Percy's on using CFLs if you needed to, which, like standard household bulbs. But they just don't output as much as a plant would be happy with. Have you ever used the household bulbs, Billy? Have you always had nice lights? What's your kind of growing method there?
Always like HPS and everything. I've used like CFLs for early
seedlings, seedlings and shit.
That's about it, really. Yeah,
that's it. When the plants are young, they can take those smaller kind of light bulbs where they're not getting as many photons get into them. But the better thing to do is just get good lights, and I know that's difficult to do because budget can be a problem, but if you want to grow the good shit, you need to get the good lights. You need to spend a couple £100 on a decent light at least. So use the use the CFLs or some lamps that you have around while they're seedlings, but when they actually start getting into the plant stage where they're growing the proper leaves and shit, then you're going to need a proper light for that. So though enough household lights would do the job decently, to do the job properly you need a proper grow light. So I would advise against using the household lights. But then we have another one which we haven't even covered yet in this series. Is the what's the ideal temperature range for cannabis cultivation? And do you want to cover this one, Billy? You want to talk about the temperature range?
I'm not really too sure on this, is because I don't really worry about that, to be honest, where I grow, because I just use whatever temperature it is, and
Same for me.
I'm too relaxed, really, to be
Yeah, same
honest.
for me. I'm just far more relaxed with it than I used to be. But for
Is
new
it too
growers,
hot? Is it too hot? Because then it's dripping, the tent's dripping with moisture. Then you got an issue. Then it's too hot. But that's about it, really. Everything else I don't care about.
yeah. But
If it's
and for
too
different
damp.
stages of growth as well, you're going to offer it different temperatures and different humidity. And when it's going through the vegetative stage, temperatures between 22 and 28 degrees Celsius, 71 to 82 Fahrenheit, it seems to be good. If you roll around there, the plants don't get too stressed. It's a nice, happy level for them. And yeah, they seem happy around there. And then with lights off, you always want it to be between 5 and 10 degrees Celsius. A little bit cooler than what the daytime temperature was. And in Fahrenheit, you want to. So let's say, for example, in vegetative growth, when the lights are on, you want it between 22 and 28. 28 being at the high end, but it can go more than that. So don't be concerned if it does go a little bit more. If it goes to like 30 or 32, it's a little bit warm. It's not preferred there, but the plant will be okay at those levels as well. Just aim for 22 to 28 when it comes to temperatures in vegetative stage during the daytime. And then when the lights go off, anything between 18 degrees C, 22 degrees C, that should be fine for the lights off kind of when the lights are not on, when it's dark in the tent or the grow room, then that'll be fine. That's 64 to 71 Fahrenheit for those guys using Fahrenheit. Yeah, it might be difficult to do that sometimes because if it's winter, it can be a little bit too cold. If it's summer, it can be a little bit too warm. So it's around there. It's not like, oh, it's on 29 degrees, my plant's gonna die now. It doesn't work like that. The plants will adjust. It's just where is ideal, where they're gonna be happiest is gonna be around there. And when it comes to humidity in the vegetation stage, you can have the humidity a little bit higher, like between 50 and 60%. And when it gets a little bit bigger, go for 45%, 45 to 55. That seems to be a nice level, but it will differ depending on the plant. There's this whole thing called VPD, which is vapor pressure deficit, which I don't monitor too much because if you've got your temperature and your humidity in the right places, then you don't need to worry about VPD so much. But if it gets too humid, your plant isn't going to be able to evaporate the moisture through its leaves properly. It's not going to be able to breathe properly. So you've got to keep the humidity at a certain level to make sure that it can breathe and that it isn't breathing too much. If the air is too dry, the moisture from the plant is going to be escaping a lot quicker, which is going to make the plant drink and eat more, which can cause problems as well. So you just got to try and keep it within those correct levels there. So between 22 and 28 C and 71 to 82 F when the lights are on, and 18 C to 22 C to 64 to 71 F when the lights are off. That's during the vegetative stage. And it's similar during the flowering stage when the flowers are growing and shit, but you don't want it to be too humid during that flowering stage because the more humid it is, the more chance you have of mold germinating and growing and you get bud rot and shit. So it's good to try and keep the humidity when you're flowering the plants below 55%. Below 50, if you can do that, that would be cool as well. And that would just reduce the chances of bud rot appearing. But the temperature is pretty much the same thing, maybe a little bit cooler than what it was in veg. You don't want to stress the plants out too much. So anything between 22 to 26 C and 71 to 78 F is good for when the light's on. And just a few degrees cooler when the lights are off as well. Don't worry about keeping it too warm in there. I don't like the idea of putting heaters in the tent when it's in flower because that can massively increase humidity. So and that can of course increase the risk of mold growing. We're going to cover mold in more detail as well, bud rot and mold a little bit further into the flowering cycle because you're going through the flowering cycle now. But the flowers won't be growing too big when we come closer towards the harvest session. We're going to cover bud rot specifically to make sure you can avoid it as much as possible. But Yeah, Cookie Grow in the chat said there, I'm sitting on 32 degrees C, still alive, just drinking lots. Exactly. It's not like it's going to kill it at 32 C. I mean, the highest mine got to was at like 38 or something. It was ridiculous, but the plants were loving it. It was like, fuck yeah, I feel like I'm on holiday. You know, they didn't say that to me because they're plants, they don't talk. But that's what I imagined they were saying. So, you know, it's not like these levels are strict in stone. If they ain't between this, the plant's going to die. These plants are very hardy. They adjust and will settle to the environments that they're in as well. So don't stress too much. The plant will show signs. If it's getting too warm, it will tell you. It will start to do this thing called canoeing, where the leaves start to curl inwards on the edges, like curl in. Like it will start to look like a canoe. That's what the leaves will do. That's when it gets too warm. So keep an eye out for that kind of thing. You know, and that will be able to tell you if it's too warm. But most of the time, they do just fine. If it's too warm, they'll just want a little bit more water to try and help them stay cool. Humidity just needs to be controlled. Make sure it stays below 55%. Yeah. And Icenia has a great point there as well in the chat. The high temperatures equals loss of terps. And terps are terpenes, which is the flavor and the smell of the buds. And if it gets too warm, then those terpenes are going to be evaporating sooner than you want them to, and different terpenes will evaporate at different temperatures. So the cooler you can get it, the better when it's going through the late vegetative stage. Yeah, sorry, the late flowering stage. My dog disturbed me again. What are you doing, bro? Don't wag your tail at me. Give me a second while I let this dog out.
He's being professional, you see, with the dog.
Fucking professional, this dog. And he'll be back in 5 minutes. He'll be like, are you done yet?
Yeah. You give him no food or tidbits. He's like,
He's got it,
bored
man.
now.
This dog has been spoiled today. You wouldn't even understand this fucking dog. God damn. He eats better than I do. Gosh.
He's not eating for 5 minutes. That's it. Now he's off.
That's what it is. Probably a true story as well. But shout out to all those dog owners. You know how it is. But yeah, you got to watch these terpenes evaporating. Some people like to keep when it gets to late flower, the last couple of weeks of the grow, then they'd like to try and reduce the temperatures of the, way down there to like 22, even down to 18 degrees Celsius in the grow tent to try and prevent those terpenes evaporating, so you get more flavor towards the end. It's something you can consider when you go into more advanced growing, but if you're just keeping it simple, keep it between the temperature levels that we've just mentioned here. So yeah, good question. We went into depth with that one. Now, one of the big concerns for new growers is, especially for those who are growing where it is still prohibited, living in Stone Age countries like I do, then smell is a big concern because these plants smell very strongly when they get into the flowering stage there. And there's a couple of ways you can prevent it from smelling, but the most common way and probably the best way is by using a carbon filter. And a carbon filter is going to be linked up to your extraction. So the air from inside the grow tent is going to be pulled through the carbon filter, through your extractor, and then vented out somewhere else. And when the air is pulled through the carbon filter, it pulls out all the organic matter from the air, all the organic molecules and shit, and just removes the smell. And it doesn't remove it 100% sometimes, because humidity can make a difference. The age of the filter makes a difference and shit. So it doesn't solve the problem 100%, but 95% will be solved by a carbon filter. You need to get one of those. And it can be a big concern because it's one of the 3 rules. It's don't tell, don't sell, cover the smell. The smell is very important. You need to have it covered. Now, there's something that some people might do, which is a very bad idea. Don't spray perfumes and air fresheners around your plants, because that's going to get sucked in to the tent and land upon your flowers, which is not only going to taint the flavor of the buds that you have, but it could also add heavy metals and different chemicals that you don't know are in that fucking air freshener. And that's going to, just taint the cannabis as well. So don't do that. If you are concerned about if someone's going around the house and you got that smell of cannabis, burn some toast, cook some bacon, as I see and he said in the chat there. Do something like that to help cover the smell. But on top of a carbon filter, don't not have a carbon filter. You need a carbon filter, especially if you're going in a place where it's still illegal to grow cannabis. So yes, carbon filters will save the day when it comes to smell. There's other things like ozone generators, but they can be unsafe and not safe to have around humans. So I wouldn't recommend one of those unless it's a real professional setup, and we're not advertising to those kind of growers. So yeah, just a carbon filter and proper extraction should do the job quite nicely. And also have negative pressure in your tent. And what I mean by that is the air is getting sucked out through the extractor and it's not coming out through the tent itself. You know, if not enough air is being pulled out, then some of the air will escape through the vents and the zippers of the tent itself, and that will be pulled out without the filter then, and that's gonna obviously smell. So you want everything going through the filter, through the carbon filter and through the extractor, and that will reduce the smell massively. So don't worry about the smell too much if that's one of your concerns. It is solvable by using a proper carbon filter and an extractor. So don't be shy. Get stuck into that. We also have is hydroponics better than growing in soil? Yes and yes. You just have to figure out what's right for you, innit? You know, it's some people prefer hydro, some people prefer soil. And we covered this one in episode 4, I think it was. All of these episodes which you said, I think we've covered it in episode 4. I mean, you know, we covered seeds in episode 4. We covered what kind of seeds in episode 4. We covered nutrients in episode 4. But I think legit for grow mediums, I think we did cover that in episode 4. Just go and check that one out, and we'll go into more detail about each different grow medium. But some people prefer hydroponics. Some people prefer soil. It is completely up to you as the grower of which method works best for you. You have to try each one as time goes on. You know, start off in hydro, start off in soil, but make sure you do test other mediums, because different ones might work better for you than others, especially when if you're going working away for the week, then you might need a specific kind of setup. If you're going to be there every day, you might do different kind of setup. So go and check out the episode which is specifically about grow mediums, to try and get more insight on which one is going to be best for your grow. Check that out. Can I grow cannabis hydroponically as a beginner? Yeah, of course you can. You can do anything. I started growing in deep water culture, which is a big type of hydroponics. That was the first time I grew, and I was able to do it. You know, if you got enough information, if you've got enough help along the way, you can learn how to grow in any grow medium and do absolutely fine. You just have to be able to go and ask questions. So just head over to percysgrowroom.com, sign up, become a member. It's all free, and any questions you have can be answered by the community over there. And there's probably somebody growing in the medium you want to grow in, so they will be able to help you specifically with all the questions that you need just for that grow method. So do go and sign up to Percy's. And don't be concerned. Everyone's a beginner at some point. You know, we all started off as a beginner, and we all stick with it and enjoy the hobby eventually. Just take some learning curves, man. So just pick which way you want to do it. Again, that episode about grow mediums will help you decide which one's going to be best for you. But just pick it and then come and ask for help over at Percy's, and we can guide you in the right direction from start to finish. Don't be shy. Just a few more left here. Just a few questions that we're going to quickly run through before we move on to the listener mail section. We have, can I use regular soil from my garden for growing cannabis? You want to hit this one, Billy? You want to talk about this? Would you use your garden?
No, just because the amount of bugs that could be in it and shit like that. That's why you're probably better off using some specialist soils, build it yourself, etc. Because using your outdoor garden, you're just going to invite all the bugs from that into you, and so no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just not built correctly for cannabis as well. The drainage isn't great sometimes. As Billy said, there's going to be bugs in there. The nutrient value might not be great. You know, there's more nitrogen than there should be, or there's more potassium than there should be. It's not very good. There's ways you can treat it. I seen he said you can microwave it first. You can put it in the oven first, but that's going to make your house stink. So the best thing to do, I mean, you can plant outside in your garden if you wanted to, but just to get the best results, it's better to dig a hole, fill that with quality soil that's going to be more suitable for cannabis, and then grow it in that rather than just going straight into the ground. But if you have good soil in your garden, then yeah, there's no reason why you can't do it. But it's better to have a nice light airy soil so the roots can move through it easily and get everything it needs and get plenty of oxygen to it as well. If there's too much clay in the soil and it's too dense, then that's not going to work. So you can use regular soil from your garden if it's good, but the chances are it's not going to be right. In most cases it's not going to be great for cannabis. So unless you want to amend that soil to make it great, then it's a better idea to just go out and buy the soil yourself, in my opinion. I've seen and heard of people using like soil from the woods and doing a good job of it, because that's essentially living soil. But again, there's got to be bugs and shit in there that you don't want. So if you're growing indoors, I wouldn't recommend doing that. But if you're growing outdoors, if you want to grow in your garden, then you're maybe getting out there and getting some soil from the woods where there, shit grows every year and grows happily. Then maybe go grab some of that shit. That works. What's next? The common cannabis plant deficiencies, and we've covered this in great detail in the episode about deficiencies, so we won't talk about it too much here. But if the plant don't look happy, you got yellow leaves, it's got bite marks on it and shit, then there's going to be something wrong. Oof, just had to sneeze, but you see how professionally use my mute button? You see that? Skills.
Professional click of the mouse.
Professional. Do you hear the click? Yeah. It's a loud click on this mouse, I've found. When I'm doing the editing, it's click, click all the fucking time. Yeah. But anyway, the nutrient deficiencies and bugs and things like that, there's a lot that goes into it. There's a lot of different deficiencies. There's many different ways that they can happen, and there's loads of different ways to treat them. So if you have concerns about that, say you're already growing and you think that your plant has a problem, then again, head over to percysgrowroom.com, take a picture of your plant and give us some information about the grow, and we'll be happy to diagnose the problem and put you back on track and give you a way to fix it. It's all pretty simple when you know what you're doing, but it takes practice. But again, we have an episode specifically about nutrient deficiencies and bugs and common cannabis plant problems. And it's just a couple of episodes ago as well, maybe like episode 12, episode 11. So go and check out that episode and you'll get loads of information about the nutrient deficiencies and bug problems that can occur on a cannabis plant. So that information is already in this series as well. So check it out. This is one which is going to differ. Can I use tap water for cannabis cultivation? Now, most people do. If you're growing it in organics, like full living soil, then some people would not like doing that because of the chlorine, and the chlorine can kill off a load of microbes in your soil. So a lot of people don't like to do that if they're growing organically. But some people do, and they have no problems. It depends massively on what the water is like in your area. All right, what you get good water around your way, Billy? Is it hard water?
Yeah, it's reasonable, but I leave it sitting for like 24 hours and stir it with some worm shit, so it evaporates a lot of stuff out.
Yeah. That's what some people would like to do when they're using tap water. If you leave it sitting for 24 hours, then the chlorine will evaporate. A lot of the chlorine will evaporate, but it's still going to have this stuff in there called chloramine as well, which is some kind of antibacterial shit, so that can kill some bacteria. You can use some vitamin C. Or I seen he said in the chat here, add absorbic acid to remove the chloramine instantly. There is stuff you can add, just a couple of drops of stuff that can get rid of all of that shit, and it doesn't cause any harm to the plant. So you can check that out if your tap water's bad. But you can find out if your tap water is good just by going to the website of your local water source. Yeah, and you can check the tap water's EC, the background EC or the ppm, to see how much is in it before you give it to your plants. And that will be fine, man. You can do that if you want to, but in most cases tap water is good to use. But if it isn't, then you can use bottled water if necessary, but that's expensive. But you can get a reverse osmosis filter as well, so it will take all of the shit out of the water and you're just left with plain water if you get a good RO system, which isn't massively expensive. And if you do get one, then you can use that for your drinking water as well, so you don't have nasty shit in your drinking water. Pretty much, if you can drink it with no problems, it's going to be fine for your plant. So give it a shot. And it's just what we got. How many more questions we got here? Because this is going longer than expected. There's a lot of questions. We'll run through the rest of these as quickly as possible. How often should I water my cannabis plants? That's going to depend on what medium you're in. Usually if we're in soil, it's gonna be on average every 3 days or so. How often do you water your plants, Billy?
Yeah, 3-4 days, depending on how much it's drinking, size and all that. Mainly just keep it moist and the top slightly dry. So.
Yeah, let the top 2 inches of the soil dry out if you can, but it depends on what size pot you're in, how big the plant is. There's so much that goes into it that needs to be considered there. But if you're growing in soil, on average, 3 to 4 days seems to be right. But if you're growing in cocoa, and a lot of people don't know this when they first start growing in cocoa, if you're growing in cocoa or another soil-less medium like cocoa, rockwool, clay pellets, things like that, then don't let that shit dry out. It needs to be wet all the time. So if you're in cocoa, you will need to feed your plants every day. at least once. Some people like to do it twice a day. Some people set up an auto feeding system so it's done every 15 minutes. You know, there's lots of different ways you can do it. But how often you should water your plants will definitely depend on many different things. So again, on average, if you're in soil, every 2, 3, maybe 4 days, you know, maybe 5 days if it's a small plant in a massive pot. So it differs. But if you're growing hydroponic mediums, then every day you need the water at it all the time. Can I grow cannabis indoors without a grow tent? Yes, you can. You can just build yourself a little grow room. You can paint the walls white if you don't want to get any reflective material, but don't use tin foil. Some people would line the walls with tin foil, and that can just create heat pockets and shit. So you don't want to do anything like that. The best thing you can do is just paint the walls of the room you're growing in a bright white, and that will reflect enough light to get to the plants. It won't be too much of a problem. So you can just grow in a grow room. You don't necessarily need to grow in a grow tent, but it's better if you do grow in a grow tent because they're specifically designed for growing cannabis or plants in general inside them. So use that if you can, but if you can't afford one, if it's your first grow and you're still spending money on cannabis, you need to save some money and shit, then do like grow in a cupboard, a wardrobe. Do what you have to do. You know, get your grow up and running, get started. And then as time goes on, you can upgrade as you go. You can get better lights, better extractors, better tents. You can do all that as the grow progresses. So just get it started. You'll figure it out, you know. How do I determine sex of cannabis plants? It's a bit. You want to explain that one, Billy? Briefly?
Yeah, I suppose you just got to wait till maturity of the plant, isn't it? And then go back, look at our series on that.
Yeah, that's right. Just go and look at the
prongs, or has it got some balls? Really?
Pretty much. Does it have white hair or does it have balls? Simple. And the female is going to have the white hair. The male is going to have the balls. It's better to see a picture of this kind of stuff. So again, just head over to percysgrowroom.com and you can search for sex in a plant and you'll get all the information there. And we've also got an episode about the early stages of flowering, but we just did a couple of episodes ago. And it will tell you all of the information about that as well. So it's really easy to do. But if you've got feminized seeds, which we explained in the seeds episode that we did as well, then it should turn out to be female. You shouldn't really have to know much, but it's always good to check. If you have any concerns or you want to second guess it, need a second opinion on what sex your cannabis plant is, take a picture, upload it over at percysgrowroom.com, and we'll be able to help you out and try to identify it. And if you do think you've got a male, just come and check with us before you kill it. You know, I've seen many people mistake calyxes on a female plant as balls on a male plant and kill a plant unnecessarily. I've seen it many times, man. Don't be that guy. Just, if you're unsure, if you're new to this and you don't know what's going on, then just take a picture of it and come and get some help over at percysgrowroom.com. All right? It's all free. Like I say, it's all free. We ask nothing from you. We just want you to have happy, healthy cannabis plants, and we can help you do that. We have, what's the difference between indica and sativa? There's a lot of questions here. This is ending up longer than I expected. We're nearly done here, though, everybody, so don't panic. The difference between indica and sativa, essentially, right, some people say about the highs are a little bit different, but that is up for debate. But mainly we're talking about the difference of them growing, right, is where an indica would tend to grow short and bushy and have a short flowering period of like 8 to 12 weeks. That's just a flowering period. And then sativa plants would tend to grow taller, lankier, stretch out more, and they would have longer flowering periods of like 12 to 16 weeks. That's the easiest way to sum it up. The leaves on an indica plant, it's called broadleaf cannabis, so the leaves are going to be wider. And for a sativa plant, which is called narrow leaf cannabis, that's going to be narrow leaves, so thinner on the blades of the leaves. So there's just certain things you can tell, but the majority of strains out there now are going to be a hybrid, a mix between indica and sativa. So it's going to be it will show symptoms. It will show, not symptoms isn't the right word, characteristics. It will show characteristics of both of those. So bear that in mind. You probably get in hybrids nowadays. How do I choose the right cannabis strain for my needs? Just pick what you like, man. Roll with it. We covered that as well in a previous episode, where we're talking about what seeds to get and where to get them from. We help you pick You know, should you get autos? Should you get photos? Should you get CBDs? Should you get THC? What kind of seeds you should get? That's all covered in the seed episode as well. So definitely go and check that if you don't know what strain to grow. But what I would seriously recommend is just go out, experience different types of cannabis and find one that works well for you. If you're looking at using cannabis medically, then find something that treats the symptoms that you have. If you want something just for recreational use, then find something you enjoy the taste of, find something you enjoy the high of, and then just grow that. And sometimes if you're growing sativa, it's going to take a bit longer. If you're growing indica, it's going to be a bit bushier. But you know, with the help of the guys over at percysgrowroom.com, you can grow any strain you want to grow. Okay, so just get the help you need over at percysgrowroom.com and just grow whichever strain you think is going to be the best for you, because it's your cannabis, man, and it's your grow, and it needs to be perfect for you. If I say to you, grow Jack Herer, that's great for me, but it might not work the way you want it to. So just do some experimenting, find out what works well for you, and just fucking grow it, because you can do it, you know. And that's about it for all the questions that we have. But I hope this episode just kind of reassures people about all of these questions that people have, these frequently asked questions are easily answerable. And not just here on the podcast, we have episodes that have covered most of these in great detail that you can download for absolutely free on your favorite podcast network: iTunes, Spotify, Deezer, Stitcher, iHeartRadio. We are on all of those, and it's all free. So if you want to learn anything else about any of these questions, it's probably already been covered, and you can go in more detail there. But if you have specific questions that you want to ask that we haven't covered, just head over to percysgrowroom.com. You can also head to our Discord server as well. It's in the description of this download. Just go there and ask questions. We have a rule on all of our networks that no dicks are allowed. So you're not going to get anybody being like, ha, you fucking noob, you don't know how to germinate seeds. People get banned for shit like that. We don't roll like that. We like to encourage people, no matter how new they are, to give it a shot and prove to themselves that they can fucking do this nice and easy. All right? Everybody can do it. Just get stuck in. The help is here if you need it. So don't be afraid to ask questions. There's many more questions than just these, you know. This is just a few questions. There's many more. Don't be afraid to ask them if you have them. Is there anything you want to add to this, Billy? Are you on mute?
I think you've covered it there quite a lot, mostly.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's everything covered. And of course, this article is over at percysgrowroom.com as well. You just search for frequently asked questions and you'll find it, and you'll be able to read these questions in more detail than what we've covered here as well. But of course, we have loads of episodes covering all of this shit as well. It's all covered in all of the episodes. And you can also ask on percysgrowroom.com or our Discord server. But that's it. Let's do some listener mail. We're ready for a few. We got a few listener mail questions that we'll quickly get to before we finish up the show here. Well, I didn't add them to the show notes, so I have to go to the actual listener mail thread. We have from Grape Ape. Congratulations, Grape Ape. You won the the snail race. And he's got a question here. He said, I just harvested my first grow. Congratulations, bro. See, that's it's always good to see people getting to the end of their first harvest, and they can start to appreciate just how different their life is going to be now. They don't have to search for cannabis all the time. Brilliant. But he also adds, I have just finished my first grow. I have 3 regular seeds of Freak Show. My question is, if I get a male and a female and I want to breed for seeds for myself, what would be the best way to do it? I'm growing with living soil in a 2x4 tent and bed. You done any breeding before, Billy?
No. Definitely not.
It's reasonably simple. I mean, the best advice I could give here, because you got if you have a male and a female, they'll be vegging at the same time. But if you can, if possible, you want to flower the female first to let the flowers grow on there a bit first. You know, give it like 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks until you flower the male, because then when the male grows and it starts to produce its pollen, you can pollinate a female that is already well established and has got plenty of buds and you know, female organs to pollinate. So you're going to get more seeds. You're going to have more chance there. If they're flowered at the same time, then you won't be able to get as many seeds because the female isn't quite as developed as you would want it to be. So just bear that in mind if you wanted to do that. Get the male flowered a little bit later, just so the female is well established before pollinating it. But it's pretty easy to do. I mean, if you wanted to, just flower them at the same time and you'll still get a fair amount of seeds from just doing it that way. And those seeds would be regular seeds as well, be half male, half female. So that's how that's going to turn out. I mean, the best way to do it, in my opinion, is by getting a female plant and using colloidal silver or silver sulfate on it to make it grow male flowers, and then you can pollinate a female plant with pollen that is also female, so the genetics of the seeds are going to be all female. So that in my opinion is the best way, because you don't have to fuck around with male plants then. But if you wanted to do it in the way that you have here, where you've got one male, one female, you can just let the male pollinate the female and let the seeds grow, nice and easy. You know, the nature does it by itself all the time, so it's very easy to do. So give that a shot, man. But again, if you wanted to go into more detail, then head over to the forum and speak to Monkey specifically about this, because Monkey has done this many times before and he's produced a lot of high quality seeds that are all feminized as well. So he has a lot of input on this. So if you wanted to get more information there, then feel free to head over to Percy's and ask Monkey, and he'll be able to fill in all the information. We got one from Tektronic here. He asks, how to balance light and fan schedules to achieve consistent temperature and humidity in small grow tents, and how important is VPD regarding plant stress? And we did mention VPD earlier, the vapor pressure deficit, and it's how important is it? I mean, it's reasonably important, but don't stress about it too much as a new grower. Just keep the temperature and humidity in check, and the VPD will probably be within the correct kind of range. As home growers, you don't really need to worry about things like that too much. But VPD is useful when you start looking at when it's getting really warm, you know, to like 35 degrees Celsius and shit like that. Then you want to get a VPD chart out to see what's the ideal humidity that you can have at those kind of temperatures to keep the plant happy. And again, this is only really the VPD thing you worry about if you've got a dehum, you know, a dehumidifier or a rehumidifier or air conditioning and heat. You need all of these kind of things so you can keep the atmosphere all balanced out and in check and consistent, like you asked there. And then you can worry about VPD. But if you can't control all that shit, don't worry about VPD so much. You're just going to stress yourself out. But how do you keep your temperatures and humidity in check, Billy? Do you have any automated things and shit like that?
Yeah, I have a fans on and some extractor stuff and a bigger tent.
Right, is that what you
I
have?
have a very chilled attitude.
Yeah, same for me. Same for me.
Yeah.
I mean, when you've been growing for a while, these things don't matter so much. You just really let the plants do their thing. But if you're concerned, there's lots of things you can do, man. It's just going to cost a little bit. It's just a little bit of an investment. And not even too much, really, either. But you can get something called an Ecotech controller, I think it was called. You can get something from AC Infinity. I'm not sure what it's called. But there's also a thing called an Inkbird. And you can pretty much... You add all of your devices together onto this little computer thing that's going to monitor the temperature and humidity. And if it gets too warm, it will flick on the aircon, or it will increase the extraction to suck out the warmer air faster. If it gets too cold, it will put a heat on or reduce the extraction. You know, it does all these things that will keep it balanced out for you. So if you are having those kind of issues and you're concerned about the consistency of temperature and humidity, then you can get this shit that fully automates all of your stuff, so it's just all kept in control, and it will stay at 26 if you've asked it to be at 26. It just takes a little bit of a setup, to hook all that stuff. I don't have any of that kind of thing, but I've seen many growers use that kind of shit, and they do a good job of it as well. So if you do want to fully automate the environment in your tent, then it's very easily doable. You just have to invest a little bit. So try that out. But I mean, that's that answer. Really, there's not much to add to that one. We got one more here from. There's a couple more. Okay. We got one from Big Bad Wolfie. Do you know if Monkey Do was taking the piss, telling me to do a micro grow in beer cans? Or was he serious? Monkey doesn't take the piss. Monkey's serious. He wouldn't give advice out with a touch of sarcasm or anything. He always he says what he means to say. I'll do it anyway, but have loads of different sized plastic pots in the garden to do it anyway. I could even grow it in a nursery fabric throwaways. They're about the same size as a beer can. Anyway. Yeah, lots of times he said anyway. But Monkey is a very skilled grower, and he has grown in lots of different grow mediums. And in this thread in the listener mail, Freddie did reply to this as well and show off some of the plants that he has grown in beer cans as well. It's a challenge. You know, you have to be a little bit of an experienced grower, know what you're doing. But if you want to have some fun and just grow a few small plants in a beer can, give it a shot, man. You know, you do it for fun. And this when you have surplus cannabis and you have the opportunity to be able to just experiment and have some fun with it like that, then do give it a shot, man. You will very much enjoy it. It's a good hobby. But growing in pot noodle containers, beer cans, mugs. Monkey's even grown in an old RC, you know, remote control for an aeroplane or something, or a drone, one of those. Epic grow it was. But yeah, if you want to give it a shot, man, he wouldn't be taking the piss. If he says have grown a beer can, then yeah, give it a shot. That's what he's telling you to do. And we have one more here from Little Red. What's up, Red? What is the outcome of more stages in light cycles? Example, using a 6-on-6 off, 6-on-6 off for flowering photos. I don't really know what the. Would you know anything about this, Billy? You ever tried any light cycles like that?
No, I don't see the point. It's too easy to do 12-12.
Yeah, just do 12-12, bro. I don't know what the results would be. It's not like it's going to speed anything up. There's different light cycles. There's one called the gas lantern routine, where I don't know what the numbers were, but it's something crazy, like 3 hours on, half hour off, 3 hours on, 6 hours off, and just random shit. And I like to keep things nice and simple. So 18-6 and 12-12. That's all you need to know. But I wish I could give you more answers as to what the outcome would be. And when you're flowering photo periods, I mean, for autos, it's not going to be too much different. It would just do its thing because autos do that. But for flowering photo periods, when you're messing around with light cycle like that, you just stress the plant out and you got a better chance of it becoming a hermy. And so that would be concerning. And you also have a chance of it re-vegging as well and not staying in the flowering period. So especially with photo period plants, it's better to just keep it simple and have it on 18-6 during the veg stage and then 12-12 during the flowering stage. And you'll do fine with that, mate. There's no need to do anything different. You know, if you're worried about electricity costs, you're trying to reduce that, then just grow 12-12 from seed. You know, and that will reduce a little bit of the cost there from the 18-6. That will work fine for you, mate. So just don't mess around with any of that shit. Because different strains, because the gas light routine, like the gas lantern technique, it can work for some strains, but there's other strains where it doesn't work. And the plant won't flower if it's under the in the gas lantern routine, and other plants will. So there's so much that needs to be taken into consideration before you do that. So as I say, just keep it simple with the 18-6 and the 12-12, and that will do the job nicely. But that's all the questions. That's everything, right? I think we're good, Billy. We're ready to move to the outro. Are you on mute again, bro?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Oh, right. I thought, was you on mute or something? You just tired now?
No, I was just taking a drink.
Oh, right. Oh, fucking. Oh, no, how do I turn that off? Oh, no. Double click.
Oh, no, look.
It's that double click thing.
No.
It's really taking the piss out of my life. I'm getting a new mouse this week. This mouse was expensive, though. Fuck.
Maybe your mouse speed has changed or something. The sensitivity of clicking.
I don't know. Right, yeah, so I think that's everything. Nice. Thanks for all the questions, everybody. Of course, if you have any questions you would like to send us for us to answer on next week's show, then do feel free to get in touch, man. Again, percysgrowroom.com, or you can head over to the Discord server, email me at highonhomegrown@gmail.com, or get in touch on your favorite social network. Lots of ways to get in touch. But that's all the questions. That's the frequently asked questions about growing cannabis, and the listener mail questions as well. And what did we say we'll cover next week? Can you remember? Fuck.
No.
I forgot. But yeah,
Remember.
We'll cover that next week.
Smoked too much weed since then.
Yeah, I haven't smoked any. Maybe that's the problem. But let's go to the outro. We're good to go to outro?
Yeah, let's dance.
Nice. Woo, we can chill for a little bit now, I feel. Gosh.
Yeah.
Gosh, the work is done now, everybody. Let's relax, man. Let's relax. Because none of this goes into the final edit, everybody. We can chill. We can chill. But there's Nicholas Haggy in the chat said, he is a big fan. I love all the work you all do. That's awesome, man. Thanks, Nicholas. We appreciate that. we love doing the work. It's mutual. Thanks for listening, man. We appreciate you.
There's a question earlier. Billy the
Okay.
Kid wanting to know if your poll tasted sweet or salty. No, sorry. If you could do a poll about popcorn, sweet or salty, that was it.
Ooh, I just made popcorn yesterday. Should we quickly do a poll now? We'll do a quick
Yeah, I think we
1 minute
should.
poll over on the YouTube to find out
Sweet or
if
salty.
it's sweet or salty. Giggity, giggity, goo.
Would you rather eat a poll that's sweet or
Uh,
salty?
Start a poll. I'm just going to put popcorn. We all know what it means. Sweet or salty. There we go. Start poll. Everybody throw you
Get your poll out
yeah.
for the lads.
Who was on there again? Was it Billy the Kid? Here you go. And Billy wants to know. Billy the Kid wants to know which ones do you want. I like a mix between the two. I don't like to add salt to my popcorn, but I'll use salted butter, and then I'll add that to the popcorn, mix it up, and then add sugar on top of that. You know what I mean? And then you get a nice mix of both. Then, and it's delicious. But man, you know, I said to myself, I made popcorn yesterday because I like to make homemade popcorn, and I made some and I ate loads of it, and it's fucking great. I love it. But then there's all bits of popcorn stuck in between my teeth. I swear, there's still bits in there now.
Yeah,
and it drives me crazy.
Next week.
You know what I mean? And I said to myself, you know what? I'm not going to eat popcorn anymore. I'm done. Done.
Yeah, till next
Fuck
time.
popcorn. No, I can't do it, man. I mean, for the pleasure of eating it, I just don't like that shit in my teeth, man.
Yeah, but you forget about that. The next time you eat, you're like, oh, yeah, that's why I didn't eat it last time.
Well,
And then you go through that cycle again. No, it's like a cycle of popcornness.
Yeah.
That's what I reckon.
I just don't like that shit, man. Teeth are expensive to fix, you know. I went to the dentist last week and I had to pay for fucking 3 fillings.
Or what?
Exactly.
Sweet or salty, mate?
Bloody savages, salty only. Only you would say that, John. You love a bit of salty goodness in your mouth, mate.
Yeah, innit?
You know.
We all know that. We all know
That's
that.
up, John. That's up, John. Welcome. Straight in. Brush your teeth and then pull some.
He said he was leaving anyway. Don't worry about him. Like,
all right,
he
cool,
said,
cool.
Salon, look.
Brush your teeth and then pull some coconut oil. What does coconut oil do? Because I brush my teeth, but it's like, you know, when the teeth are really close together, it's difficult to get in between them. It's like, I mean, I think it's all out now, but still. I don't know, man. It just gets stuck in there too much. It's a shame because I do like popcorn, but I don't like my teeth being fucked. You know? Yeah, can of butter. They were saying, oh
yeah, can of butter popcorn.
Maybe I do have to try popcorn one more time. You know?
Well, if it's really good though. And then that'd be the only time you have popcorn with can of butter on. If it's really good, it's that one time.
Fire Tops off to bed. Yeah, man. Have a good night, Fire Top. Thanks for joining us, bro. We'll be out of here soon. We're just going to finish up this poll about the popcorn. And it looks like the majority of people, and we've only got 15 votes so far, and we'll give it another 5 or so votes there. Not volts. That's electricity. Xylitol for oral pause health. Okay. Xylitol. No, it's not like I've got bad teeth and shit. It's just I'm just old, you know. Yeah, but goddamn, it's just when it gets stuck in the teeth there. You know. Am I the only one with that problem?
Probably. I think I see Nice just admitted he knows a lot about oral.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. He's good with oral and health.
Yeah. Exactly.
Thanks, Iceni. It's good. It's good you could share that with us. At least you have teeth. You know what I'm saying,
that's
Pagan?
True. That's true.
For
yeah.
now.
That's
for
true.
now. I want to keep them for as long as possible, you know? I was saying this to a member on the forum. I can't remember who it was. It might have been Art, man. I'm not sure. It mentioned about it doesn't matter what you do once you get to a certain age, you just start losing your teeth. And it's like, for the majority of human history, our teeth have started falling apart from like the age of 25. And people would die from issues they have with their teeth. You know? So when you get like past 50, maybe 60, then it's gonna be real hard to keep your teeth, man. Shout out to anybody who's still got decent teeth at that age. I seen he said, "You've not seen my teeth. I only have 4 in my top." Okay. And you're here telling us xylitol for oral health, bro.
Yeah.
Why would he listen to you? I'm only joking there. I see any. Jesus, I use coconut oil and cloves for oral.
What?
Giggity do.
Yeah,
Yes, yes, yeah. I've only just found out. You only just found out you got 4 teeth, bro. No, that clove oil shit's nasty. I hate that stuff, man. But yeah, you can make your own clove oil, innit? Yeah, that's very cool. Well, yeah, shout out to all those with good teeth.
It's the clove oil just for that tingly effect while it does the oral. You know,
I hate that shit, man. I hate that shit. All right, I'm gonna end the poll. Here we go.
Go.
Sweet
Click
won
it.
by
Click it.
far at 72%,
Oh,
with
look at that.
27% salty, and that ends up to be 99%. So where did the last 1% go? Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, coconut, great for getting the tar off your teeth. What's up, Mad Dog? Good to see you, bro. Yeah.
That's what the 1% like salty biscuits. If you get what I mean.
Well, clove oil kills the roots if you have any holes. Oof, that sounds terrible. I keep my teeth in the jar for the tooth fairy. That's very good of you. Yeah. And make it easy for them to come along and clean it. Yeah. But that is one of these things I've often thought. You know, there's technology out there where they can. I think it was being used in Japan recently, where they can just inject you with this shit and encourage new teeth to grow. But it's something that the dental industry is going to be suppressing. You know what I mean? They don't want that information to get out. Imagine how many dentists will lose their job if you could just regrow your teeth. You know, like after 5 years, you're like, oh, these teeth are getting a bit shit. I think I'll just grow some new ones. And then you have an injection to make you grow new teeth, or you take a pill or something.
Yeah, that'd
would you do it?
Crazy, wouldn't it?
I would do it. I would do it. Yeah, new teeth every few
years.
Years.
I don't know about having a pill and injection because it's trusting pharmafia again.
Very true.
Very injections, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
if I could grow something in my grow room that would make me grow new teeth,
yeah,
yeah, you know,
the dentures would be the way, wouldn't it? No, they're fake.
There's an Alzheimer's drug that has made old people grow new teeth. Fuck, that's weird, man. Imagine having Alzheimer's and you can't remember shit, and then all of a sudden you grow new teeth. That's gonna fuck you even more.
Yeah, well, you would have forgot you had teeth or no teeth in the first place, wouldn't you? So how would you know you're growing new ones and you didn't have any?
Yeah, these are new. I've always had these.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Good shit though. Good show, everybody. I hope you've enjoyed it. Just me and Billy today. Yeah, I'm sure you noticed. But Margaret should be back with us next weekend. I'll try and get somebody else on as well. I did message a few of our other guys as well, but everybody's busy. You know, busy, short notice and all that. But I hope again that everybody out there in Canada is having a lovely Thanksgiving. And yeah, enjoy your festive season, everybody. And we'll catch you next week on Sunday. Yeah. It's been a pleasure,
and all that
as
shit.
always.
Right.
Yeah, waving. Not just yet, because we've got to activate the music and professionally fade it in and all of that. You know.
So we're just pulling up socks at the minute then before the waving.
Pull up socks, everybody. Just get high, stay super high, and all that shit. You know, roll up your joints. And it's been a pleasure. Don't forget to download the episode. You know, news goes out on Monday. Interview on Wednesday, Grow Guides on Friday, and we'll catch you again on Sunday. And I'll let the patrons know if there's going to be any streams on the Tuesday or the Thursday this week. I'll keep you all informed. It's been fun. Stay high, stay safe, and we'll see you on the next one. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye. Now it's wave time, Billy. Wave.
All right, wave. I'm waving.
Jesus. Bye.